Good Sunday morning. Welcome to beautiful Dawsonville, Georgia. Crisp 41 degrees here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. A stark difference from what we experienced yesterday with temperatures in the 60s and 50s. Although the sun is not going to make for a different track condition than they experienced yesterday. I am Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett. Lucas, it's going to be a great day of racing here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
For sure, for sure. The drivers are going to have a lot of issues with the cold track temperatures today, a lot of slipping and sliding. It'll be a lot like that rain race yesterday. Track will probably be even a little more slipper. So we'll just see what happens. You'll see quite a few spin outs, I would imagine, today.
Cold temperatures and cold tires make for less grip, and we're going to see it all here live on our live broadcast. Once again, broadcasting live from the Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia, here for the Winter Shootout Series. Thank you for joining us here in person and on our live broadcast. Got carts on the track. Be ready to roll here in just a few moments.
It looks like they've already received the green flag.
We've got Oliver Neighbor along with Lincoln Massey, David Gilchowski, John Hutchison, and Ruben Greer on the track now. Lo206 Cadet here kicking off our race morning today. Neighbor turning a lap of a 1 minute 7 seconds, nearly 2 seconds quicker than any other car on the track. As you can see, quite a distance he's already made there, working lap number 2 in our Lo206 Cadet class here this morning.
I think we're going to see quite a bit of this today. The field spreading out in these pre-finals, the drivers just adjusting to those track temperatures and getting comfortable with it, and they'll start getting closer as the race ends. But I think we're going to see quite a few gaps in all our races today.
Lucas, what kind of changes did they have to make overnight from what we experienced yesterday into what we have here this morning?
I mean, there's so many different things. The biggest thing is on that warm-up lap coming out, they just try to get those tires. They're almost looking like they're going to spin out, just trying to get grip in those tires, heated up as fast as possible before that green flag is thrown. You can move out those wheels on the axle just a little bit to get a little more traction, but other than that, you just got to adjust as a driver and go that route.
Drivers adjusting as we roll through the 17 corners here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Neighbor at that time 3 seconds quicker than his previous lap. He turned a 1 minute 4 second lap. He's working a distance of about 1.9 seconds over second place Lincoln Massey in car number 7. As you see our cars work their way through turns number 4. They're right below our announcer's tower here.
About lap 4 or 5, they should have some decent heat in, and that's when I imagine you'll start seeing some fields getting a little bit closer. Oliver's obviously off to a fantastic start, but that 2 through 4 group right there is going to bunch up here in the next 2 laps, and you'll start getting that drafting, and we'll have some entertaining racing for sure.
Same song, second verse from what we saw yesterday. Lucas Oliver put on a great show, but had some mechanical issues that took him out late in the race. He's picked up where he left off with that fast go-kart here this morning in the Lo206 Cadet division.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting in a dominant round yesterday, and unfortunately, I think he lost his chain going down too, and had to retire the kart in the final. But pre-final, I mean, he almost lapped the last person in the field, and it was looking like it was going to be that way in the final, and then it ended up being a very entertaining race between the 3, 4, and 5 guy, and Lincoln was able to take the win yesterday.
And these cars currently working lap number 3, actually on lap number 4 of a 12-lap pre-final here this morning. Your running order once again, as you can see on your race monitor: Oliver Neighbor over Lincoln Massey, David Gilchowski, John Hutchison, and Ruben Greer, your top 5. All pretty close back there on that lap, within 3 to 4 tenths of a second of each other. Ruben Greer a little bit off the pace there in position number 5, but he had a slow start yesterday. But as the day went on, he picked up more speed and became more competitive throughout the day's events.
Yep, Ruben ended up getting a podium. I think David Gilchowski had a mechanical issue as well. He was able to finish the race, but he just kept getting slower and slower, it seemed like. And Ruben took advantage of it on probably the second to last lap and got on the podium to get that 3rd place spot.
It appears maybe John Hutchison having some issues there through that last corner. He's back on pace now, but definitely lost some distance from those top 3 carts in the 4th place now. He's heading down the hill.
Yeah, and it does look like 2 and 3 are starting to get a little bit closer to Oliver, and 4 and 5 are just falling back a little bit.
Of course, your leader once again, Oliver Neighbor in car number 10. Working a lap, his last pace was 1:03.533, within a half second of Lincoln Massey in car number 7 second with turn day 1:03.982.
Coming across the line, it looks like 2-3 are a little bit closer. There was a little over a second distance. We're about the same. But right now is when those tires should really start to come in, and you should start seeing a little bit aggressive driving coming into those corners and trying to hit that apex a little bit sooner.
Definitely Lincoln Massey and David Gilkowski closing in on each other there for position number 2 and 3. All of it going on behind Oliver Nabert, who is your leader in car number 10. Of course, 4th place, John Hutchison, and in 5th, Ruben Greer in car number 20. Working at lap number 6 now.
Coming into the backstretch, it definitely looks like Lincoln and David gain on Oliver, but everywhere else on the track, it just seems like Oliver really boosts that lead.
17 corners here make up the course at Atlanta Motorsports Park, so you have to be good in all of them. Of course, that's almost nearly impossible. Some are going to have better than others. It's all about putting the best lap together that you can for your race machine, and right now everyone's doing a great job of that. As they cross the start-finish line now, will show a distance of 3.08 seconds between first and second, then about another second and a half back to David Gilchowski in third in car number 77. Although visibly it looks like second and third place gaining on your leader, Oliver Nabert. We'll see if that's the case once they cross the line.
For sure. Very technical track, probably the most technical kart track in the U.S., not even close from anything I've seen so far. The elevation change, the corners, it's just the design of this track was definitely to make drivers better. And we had Mario Krimmers here last race day for our summer championship race, and he's a world champion, and he was just like, man, it felt like I was on a roller coaster. I've just never seen anything like this. It was so much fun, and it was funny. I think his second time out, he set like the track record. I mean, it just shows you the animal that he's taken on as a driver.
Absolutely. No corners here are the same in the 17 that make up the course here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. You see there in the background on our large track, we got some cars out there. It's the X Experience here today, making some laps in those race machines. A great group of those folks here, too. A busy day, a busy weekend here at AMP.
For sure, for sure. And main track's kind of the dad to the kart track. I mean, the owner, Jeremy Porter, really just wanted to make drivers better, and you got a Formula 4 team up there on main track with VRD, and they try to get a few drivers. They sponsor a drive-in day with them for the winner of TAG last year. I think they're going to do KA this year. They're trying to develop the drivers from the kart track because they understand that when they come from this track, I mean, it's just like no other. And if they're good on this track, they can be good on any track. And that's why they put them on main track. And main track is extremely hard. You watch some of those races on main track with Spec Miata, and you just don't have a lot of passing room. You got the main straight, and every now and then people get aggressive in six, but it is a tough track too.
If you're not familiar with Atlanta Motorsports Park, it essentially is a country club for motorsports. You'll find a country club here setting throughout the summer with a swimming pool for members, whatever it may be. It's a country club without the golf clubs and golf carts. Instead, we have race cars and race karts here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park as we're working our laps through in our first pre-final. Oliver Nabert still your leader by about 3.8 seconds last pass over Lincoln Massey. David Gilchowski in third, and car number 77, John Hutchison and Ruben Greer round out the field.
And Oliver's gone purple every lap, so those tires are definitely come in. I mean, I think he started at 1:09 on the first lap, and now he's at 1:03s. So he's close to where he needs to be on a normal, good sunny day where the track had good temperature around that 101 mark. So, again, another 103. He's just purple every time. So his laps are just getting better every time, as well as everybody else. I mean, Lincoln Massey's at a 103.9, and David is at a 104.3. So they're all just getting better every lap.
Yeah, picked up nearly 6 seconds for your leader, Oliver Nabert, since the start of this race. Again, you're watching the pre-finals here this afternoon from Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia. For the Winter Shootout Series, I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you the coverage here on our live broadcast and in person here at the AMP. Great camera angles here from our overcast sky cam, getting us great views here of the racetrack. Great camera crew here as well as we see their leader making his way toward the start-finish line. He'll see 2 to go.
Purple again. It's getting better and better.
Getting better and better. And that time, a minute 3.076 for Oliver Nabert.
When we were doing our practice and qualifying this morning, the temperature was about 36 degrees out there, and one of the mini drivers was coming off track, and to his dad, I just heard him yelling, I can't feel my hands, I can't feel my hands. So you got to wonder how much effect that comes in if it's still that temperature out there. I think we're at like 41 degrees now. It is cold and it's blistering, and even if you're wearing those race gloves, that wind out there coming through those race gloves is just so cold. And you're talking about a 12-lap pre-final and a 15-lap final, and it's tough out there. Even in our concession carts, I remember last year I went out and it was probably about 42 degrees, and I did about 3 laps, and I was like, I can't feel my body. I'm not doing this anymore.
Even walking up the hill here to the announcer tower this morning, quite chilly from what we experienced yesterday as the white flag waves. 1 lap to go for your leader, Oliver Nabert.
Oliver just ran another 103, so he's still about a second faster than anybody in the field. David did gain some time on Lincoln Massey that lap, 0.3 seconds.
All about learning here in this pre-final. Get you ready for the final race later on this afternoon. That is the points-paying and the trophy-paying event. You'll see later on here on our coverage, once again broadcasting live the Winter Shootout Series from the Atlanta Motorsports Park in beautiful Dawsonville, Georgia, here on a Sunday morning and afternoon.
For sure, for sure. And I think the Winter Series is a great opportunity for new drivers with not so much experience to get in and learn before the Summer Championship. I think we have about 45 drivers today, to where the Summer Championship last month ago was 145 drivers. So this is really just to get the new guys up. A lot of people race this that are going to step up a class maybe and get used to their new motor package and different things like that. But the Winter Series here is just a great opportunity to get in the series and get some experience before you hop into that major tough summer series that we have here at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
As the black and white checkered flag in the air, that concludes our first pre-final of the morning. Your winner, Oliver Nabert, in car number 10 over Lincoln Massey, David Gilchowski, John Hutchison, and Ruben Greer, your finishing order on that lap for our first race of the morning here on the broadcast. Once again, Blake Smith here with Lucas Arnett, live from Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia.
Oliver just put in another dominant outing like yesterday, and if he can keep that mechanical failure from happening again, I think it's going to be tough for anybody to even get close to him in that final. He's got it down right now.
As you can see there in the bottom right-hand corner of our screen, it is our concession ride and drive carts. You can arrive and drive those here throughout the week. For more information, check out AMP on the website at AtlantaMotorsportsPark.com for all of those details. And you can get them out here and turn some of those laps, 55-mile-an-hour carts. Also, once again, do that throughout the week. Also, kart racing programs as well, and kart racing school here throughout the year at Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia, here on Duck Thurmond Road.
Few new names that I haven't seen in our series. Ty Atkins, know him from Flowery Branch, Georgia. He's trying to get into racing some, big football player in high school football. James Schumann, Tag Master, Kyle Clark, Tag Master, Mike Conrad, Tag Master. Haven't seen those names. Leonardo Oliveira, been here a long time. Probably one of the best to do it out on this track. He runs DCT Racing Program. And if you want to learn from somebody that knows the track at Atlanta Motorsports Park, he is a top guy there, especially in those tag classes. And Sam Machado with WRS Racing, him and his dad just opened up a race team here, and again, just really good drivers in this class.
Rolling to the track here in just a few moments, our Tag Master and Tag Senior here this morning. We'll have two different classes on the track at the same time.
A lot different scene from when we walked in yesterday. Yesterday just completely fogged out, or fogged. You couldn't even see the corner that you were going into. My corner workers came in the morning and they were like, "We can't run a race. You can't even see the corners that you're trying to go into." And the guys were like, "We're ready. We're racing. It is what it is. We got to get it going, guys." And today, just that beautiful sunny out, and you can see those mountains forever. It seems like when that drone gets up there, just beautiful views with the trees changing colors, and it's going to be a fun day. I think we're going to have some entertaining racing as the weather gets a little bit warmer.
It is going to be looking for mid-50s here this afternoon for high temperatures around 2 to 3 p.m. About time as we roll into our last of the finals here. Right now, about 41 degrees crisp here this morning. You just see them getting heat in those tires.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to spin out. I mean, they're just completely sideways, just trying to burn some of that top layer of that rubber just to get that fresh rubber down. It's almost like they're melting them off. And with those tags, they have such a big power band that it's easy to spin those tires and get that top layer of rubber off.
Going to have our Tag Masters and Tag Seniors on the track this time. Mike Conrad in car number 19 and James Schumann on our Tag Masters, and the Tag Seniors, Sam Machado and Leonardo Oliveira. Heading on the track, you see them getting bunched up. We're hoping to see the green flag this time by for these race cars. Get started in our second pre-final of the day here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. I'm Blake Smith, once again alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you all the live coverage here. And the green flag is out. We are off to racing. You see that plume of smoke behind them, getting the heat built up in those race cars, and as they head into the corners.
Leo took it looked like he was in second place, and Sam had pole, and he got a great start right there and took out to the lead immediately. Sam Machado to follow, and then you got a different class behind them with Mike Conrad and James Schumann. Bunched up pretty well right now. I think you'll see some gaps take off between the senior class and the master class. Should be about a 3-second difference.
3 second between those two classes. Difference in speed. Once again, Leonardo Oliveira and Sam Machado on our Tag Senior and our Tag Master. It's Mike Conrad and James Schumann, both on the track at the same time, both in our camera angle there, exiting out of turn number 17, coming to the start-finish line.
So the difference between our two classes here is the Tag Senior class is weighing in at about 366 pounds, to where those master classes are weighing in at about 406 pounds. So about a 40-pound weight difference between the two. Typically, you got the seniors, they're under 27 years old, and then the masters, the guys that are a little bit older, they get that extra weight difference. Sam holding right on Leonardo's tail right here. Should be a good race between those two. We'll see if Leonardo stays out or if he heads in. I heard in the pits that he was possibly talking about just getting a few laps and then saving the engine for the final. Weird strategy, but when you have that much experience on this track like he does, it makes sense.
Definitely doesn't hurt to save your equipment for when it really matters. That'll be in our finals later on this afternoon. Our points and trophy paying events here this afternoon at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Winter Shootout Series, as you see on your camera there, our top two cars going to be in the Tag Senior Leonardo Oliveira and Sam Machado, the top two cars.
And Sam actually is the purple driver right now, so he's the fastest car on track as of right now on that last lap. Still in second. Looks like the gap's widening a little bit, so we'll see if Leo takes a step forward and is a little bit faster on this lap, I would imagine. So, yep, so Leo just went purple. He was about 7/10 faster than Sam. And then Mike Conrad's still in P3. They're about 2 seconds behind those senior drivers.
As it looks like Leonardo did pull off there.
Yep. So that's what I figured was going to happen. That's what I heard in the pits this morning. It makes sense for those drivers, obviously, to save those motors for the later day, especially when it's cold out like this. You'll see on those air intakes, the cooling device for those motors, they'll tape them up, actually, so there's less airflow in those so they can get warmer temperatures. So if I was Sam in this position, what I would do is I would do the same thing that Leo did. Is now he's in P1, so he's already locked up P1 for the final. Is I would go ahead and pull off and save my equipment as well. Sam's still a little bit newer, so we'll see if he stays out. He's still learning a lot about the track and learning different things. Our summer series, he started about 3 months in, I want to say, and really just came out of the gates pretty quick with a great race team. So that's what I would do if I was the driver, save my equipment. If the other guy is, I got P1 locked up, why not? But Sam may have different thoughts in his head where he just wants to continue to practice, and maybe he'll learn something on these cold track conditions that will help him in the final.
Once again on our screen there, Sam Machado crossing the start-finish line. He'll turn a lap time of a 51.603, his best time of the afternoon there for Sam.
It almost looks like he may be the only guy on track still. I haven't seen any Master. Oh, okay. So Masters are just way behind there. They're 14 seconds behind, so they're in a big track here, so it's hard to get every kart in the camera angles. So
putting on a great race there.
Looks like they're
Conrad.
starting to battle. We'll follow them for a little while and see where this goes. So Mike Conrad was in first there, and James took over because Mike Conrad was leading earlier in that class, and it looks like James Schumann just took him on that last lap and got ahead of him.
James Schumann, once again, your leader, followed by Mike Conrad in our tag masters. This race going on the same time as our tag senior class. The only tag senior left on the track is Sam Machado, so we're going to follow this race here as they're side by side. Heading into 15 and 16, they swap positions once again. Looks like Mike Conrad back to the lead in car number 19.
And I believe this is James Schumann's second race out here. He did our race yesterday in round one. They just opened up a Paralyn team at Atlanta Motorsports Park. So we'll see how they go. Very new to the track still, but because some competitive racing already, and that's usually what you see with those teams that are starting at this facility and choose this facility to basically start a race team out of. They just come out of the gates and are pretty quick immediately. And obviously, if you're starting a race team, you have some sort of experience in karting. So it's exciting to see these new teams popping up here at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
A great facility we have here. A lot of these folks are housed here and keep their race machines and race equipment here and just show up on a race day, so quite convenient for them. Once again, as we do a swap again, now we're going to see Mike Conrad back to the front in car number 19, kind of swooping and flopping there to see who has the best advantage up front and see what it's like being in dirty air.
Yeah, and I think just James Schumann just got a pass coming down too. I think he just took Mike Conrad back, so they're just battling back and forth. It's they're having fun out there. That's what we like to see here.
Once again, that's going to be Schumann in the red kart and Mike Conrad there in the blue with the green on it.
Interesting to see. You see the difference between you see him reaching down right there, pulling off tape as they go. That means that motor's starting to come in. It's starting to feel warm, feel happy because he's getting some good airflow in there. Water's heating up finally, so they'll pull off that duct tape on those side pieces as they go, and it really it's smart for those drivers to do because the performance enhancement it does doing that is there. So it's cool to see how these drivers, and there you see another pass. So he got a little distracted trying to pull that tape off his motor and get some more cooler water going again. So it's crazy how they adjust as they're driving in these little things going 65 plus miles an hour on this track.
There's definitely got to be better places than others, Lucas, to pull that tape off, more convenient, where the driver's not near as involved as driving the vehicle.
For sure. I don't know how I would do it coming up 8. That's going into what we call David's Bend, where it's an off-camber turn. It's a tough turn right here, as you see in the camera angle. It's tough. I would definitely do it on the front stretch right here. You got an easier turn to go into, or the back stretch where you have your longest straightaway period. But yeah, you really got to be selective on that. And as a new driver, you would experience something like that, and he'll learn. He'll figure it out. But yeah, it's just entertaining to me to watch him adjust. And even in our 4-stroke stuff, you'll see people playing with their carburetors and stuff. It's just crazy to watch how much the drivers actually do to the karts while they're racing them.
3 laps to go here in this
Should
tag
take the
senior.
inside line here. James had him gained back on that back stretch, closed the gap by 5 kart lengths right there. Could have popped it inside if he wanted to. But I guess I think he had a spin out yesterday and he's wanting to save it. Here we go on the outside here. Great pass right there. On that David's Bend right there, you want to come back out towards that brake sign and get closer to the track so you close off. You're trying to keep that straight line, and that's what James did there. And Mike Conrad tried to take the inside a little too early.
Definitely getting a feel of the line of which works better for their race cars here this morning as we prepare for our finals here this afternoon. You're tuned in to live Atlanta Motorsports Park winter shootout coverage. Tag Senior and Tag Master divisions on track now as we follow the Tag Master race.
Here we go. See, that's my favorite spot to pass on this track. I mean, the guy leaves it open, leaves that door open for me. It's just, I'm going to put my nose there. I'm going to late brake. It's going to float that driver on the outside out even more because they can't turn in and hit a better exit corner. So, but there's a reason why they're racing and I'm not.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for these drivers making their way around the track here into these sharp corners here this morning.
Oh, good run right there. He should have them up the hill. We'll see. Over, under, come in. Oh,
he tried. He took the look.
They're saving it. I get it. We're in the pre-final. We don't want to mess up any of these karts before we go into the final. Just that racer mentality of just sticking it in and running with it. Sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to be careful in 4 coming into that double apex turn down in the chicane. It's a tough, dangerous spot on this track, but sometimes you just got to go. Oh, there we go. We got some rear action. So he got a lot more speed coming over that hill and wanted to cut in the inside, but James held that inside line, and he's going to take the win on this one.
Checkered flag in the air. We saw it just a moment ago. Sam Machado took the win in the Tag Senior after a pull-off from Leonardo Oliveira. And then in our Tag Master, James Schumann taking home the victory over Mike Conrad in this morning's pre-final. Once again, welcome out to Atlanta Motorsports Park. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you live coverage this morning of the Winter Shootout Series here in beautiful Dawsonville, Georgia. I guess, Lucas, we can say afternoon now. It's 12 o'clock, so good afternoon from the North Mountains of Georgia.
Man, that made me excited. I can't wait for the final. I mean, watching those two, I wish there was more in the class, but watching those two guys flop it back and forth, I think we had about 6 lead changes between those two on the last 6 laps, it seemed like. I mean, like I said in the beginning, as those tires start coming in, you'll start seeing the guys get a little more aggressive, a little more comfortable, trust in the kart that the kart's going to hold in those corners and not just fail them. So those lap 4s and 5s, you'll start seeing a lot more different racing.
And when you see that competitive racing in the pre-final, it kind of gives you an idea of how your competitors are going to be in that race. You know, what line do they prefer? Because you're going to be racing with them again for 15 laps later on this afternoon.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I think the pre-final is so valuable for the final because me as a racer, I'm looking at, all right, he's using this line here, he's using this line here. So you got to observe that and know your competition and realize, hey, this is my opportunity to take the door. You know, he's leaving it open here. So here we go. In this LO class, you'll see that. You'll see it just mock the final, and they're just really just dialing it in and figuring out what that driver's going to do for the final. And they'll save all their tricks for the final. I mean, nobody goes out and wins the race in the pre-final. You win it in the final. So it's going to be exciting to watch this one.
If you're just now joining us, we're the Winter Shootout Series, a stark difference from what we had here yesterday, Lucas. We had humid air, fog. It was about 60 degrees. We're experiencing right now about 41 degrees. Sunny skies, cool track temperatures, going to make for a different challenge for these drivers. And we've got a full field this time, a total of 19 karts on track for our LO206 Master and Seniors.
Yeah, so qualifying in Master, Phillip took it. Phillip is from Barnesville, and this is his first. Yesterday was his first time on our track, and they're wanting to come up and start doing some of our racing as well. And Chris Arencia, Tag Master, I think he came in second on the championship for the summer series. So he's a great one to watch. He's with Frank Baldoza Racing, and Frank's been a great ambassador for us. So we love getting some Frank around here. He's just basically his trophy room. He's got any trophy that you want to see. I mean, from dirt to quarter midgets to karting. I mean, I think he has like a 4-bedroom house, and it's just him and his wife now. They're retired, and I think 4 of the bedrooms has trophies in all of them.
A trophy case in each and every room. Now, Lucas, sitting in the staging area here, what's going through your mind as a driver?
Coming in, I just really want to, on that backstretch, just spin those tires. So you're going to get a little bit gaps coming in. You'll probably, honestly, with this class being so big, you'll see a false start because nobody will get bunched up because they're trying to heat those tires, and the gap will be extremely large. So coming in, my mindset is weave back and forth until I can get some kind of grip in those tires. It looks like Danny May is up front right now in our seniors. So you'll have seniors up front, and then you'll have your master class in a split start. Again, 2 different classes, 2 different speeds, 2 different weights, and that's why you see those separate classes.
We'll have a full field, 19 cars in this one on track at the same time, like Lucas mentioned. Will be 2 different classes, our LO206 Master and LO206 Senior. Here this afternoon, the Winter Shootout Series, as we work our way through our pre-finals here this afternoon.
And the weight difference between those is LO206 Senior will be about 366 pounds, so they got to be over that mark to be in Senior, and then the LO206 Master's got to be at 390, so about a 24, 25-pound difference between those two. This is the race to watch. This is coming down to, you got 1 or 2 spin outs typically, and this one's where you get to see all the crazy action.
If you're just now joining us, welcome to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett for our Winter Shootout Series. Getting ready to start our second pre-final of the afternoon here. It's going to be a division of our LO206 Senior and LO206 Masters. If you're just now joining us, welcome to the beautiful hills of North Georgia here this morning. Actually, this afternoon, it's going to be about 41 degrees out there. Cool track temperature, so you're going to see these cars out here trying to get all the heat in they can in this warm-up lap before we go green flag racing. Got a great group of karts here in multiple divisions here this morning. Getting a view of our turn 4 there in the AMP Kart Racing Control Tower. As you hear the karts beneath us, they're rolling out. We'll be going green flag racing here in just a moment.
Here in that building, and you just start feeling the rattling from those 4-stroke motors, a lot different where those 2 strokes are that higher pitch, very weird noise, and then you got the rumble from the LO206s where it's just really just that deep motor. Big speed difference from those carts that were just on track to the carts that are on track. As you see, they're just trying to get heat in those tires, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Coming around David's Bend, you start seeing them bunch up. But the way it's already looking, they're already so spread out that you'll more than likely see a false start on this.
False start means we won't be going racing this time. We'll probably be going and making our turn there at the cutoff and giving them one more chance to get them lined up here. Once again, like Lucas mentioned, getting heat in those tires. It's a cool morning here, about 41 degrees. So cool track temperatures. These kiddos and adults had some cool temperatures in qualifying and practice this morning. It hasn't warmed up too much. About 6 degrees from the start here this morning. So getting those lined up. They're looking pretty good, Lucas.
They are. They bunched up extremely well. I see some stragglers in the back. I don't know if it's the two different classes. It may be. Yeah, this is going to be a false start. Nope, they went green. And then, nope, they went false start. So a little bit of miscommunication there. It looked good there for a second, and then you just saw the back just kind of slow down for some reason. That's kind of the difficulties of calling starts here with split classes, because you can't tell which one's what. And sometimes those leaders press the gas, and they start going a little early. They get happy, and the back guys forget to, and that's why you get those gaps. But this one's looking really good. You want to see that nose to tail bumper to nose action right here, very close. Should be going about 10 to 15 miles an hour. This one's a perfect start. Man, you couldn't ask for any better. They got to stay in those tram lines to get a green flag. They can't be out, and we're off to a race.
We are off under green flag for our Lo206 Senior, Lo206 Master. Your front row, Danny May and Harrison Browning. The Lo206 Senior getting them all filed up there.
So those first three all used excessive runoff. They'll all have warnings there, and the race director, Eli Bearden, he'll have a warning book, and if they use an excessive runoff coming down two again, that'll be a 2-second penalty every time they do that. So you got to watch those three drivers and see if they use excessive runoff, because the 2 seconds in this race it could be a 10 position drop on that, you know?
Absolutely.
Looks like Danny May's out to a lead right there. I can't see who's behind him. It looks like Jarvis Lee in third place.
We'll see the running order as they cross the start-finish line here on our race monitor screen. Once again, your leader, Danny May, in car number 9, going to be crossing that start-finish line here. And we'll see second place is going to be...
You got Ryan Florentino in fourth. I saw that.
Harrison Browning in second, that 88 machine.
Yep. So Harrison, and you'll see this. What'll happen is you got two different packs right now. So if the lead pack ever wants to catch up to the front pack, they got to work together and use some drafting to get to them. And if the front pack is smart, they draft and create such a gap to where they could battle the last 2 laps and not have to worry about losing too many penalties. This is the main class to where drafting really does matter. Jarvis Lee takes it inside on Harrison. Beautiful pass. And whenever those people behind the leader are battling and not working together, that front person's just getting more and more of a gap. So you got to be super careful. So as they work together, you'll see them. They have more power in each other's weaknesses than that front oneer can have. And there you go. They're already back together.
Yeah, the top 4 cars pretty evenly spread out there. Danny May, your leader, crossing in each other's tire tracks, heading into turn number 1.
Jarvis Lee just went purple, fastest lap today, and that's why he was able to gain that position. So looks like LO Master, you got Chris out in front. Chris Arencia out in front leading that pack of the Masters, and now you're getting that breakaway speed. So Erickson Evans, he's got to get a partner. Somebody come help, work with me, let's get him. And it's hard to do it when you're by yourself and you got a pack of 4.
Yeah, that 4th place car losing a little bit of time to the top 3. Heading into David's Bend here through our final corners of the lap. Now pretty evenly spaced. Your leader, Danny May, in car number 9. He's going to cross the top end of the start-finish line. 3 in a row there, and about maybe about a car length and a half back to 4th place of Ryan Fiorentino.
Yep. And Ryan's just staying in that draft right now. He's having a smart race right now. And if you're Erickson Evans, you're just like, start battling. Somebody start battling so that he has an opportunity, because he just doesn't have anybody working with him right now. And in this race, you just have to have that. Ryan looking like he's starting to lose a little bit of the draft. The front 3 are staying close together.
And Erickson's hoping that
there's a
Ryan,
little bit of a battle that's going to help these other racers.
Danny May looking back to see what's behind him, and if he looks back there, he's going to see 3 carts in a row right on his tail heading into the turn.
Coming around turn 9. And there you go. See, they're starting to battle, and Danny May's just like, if you want to go in front of me, go in front of me. I don't want these people getting behind us, catching up to us.
All about orchestrating the pass here to make sure that you lose minimal amount of time if you have to lose any.
Ryan trying to take it inside. He's not going to have enough minimum. And there, just right there, just from that little bit of a battle, Erickson Evans back in that top 5, back bunched up. That's how crucial it is to have everybody bunched up. And Erickson, you'll see him. He's going to touch. He's going to start. Oh, he's taking the inside.
Yeah, he's not satisfied riding in 5th. He's ready to make some progress up to the field.
Pass on Ryan. Erickson's a VRD driver, does a lot of things overseas in driving, and he is a very talented young driver. Started at AMP at a young age, and his dad, Doug, great ambassadors for the sport, great guys. Love having good conversations with them. You'll see some good racing from this kid.
Top 5 carts all evenly spread out, nose to tail, heading in to the turn. A little bit of advantage, Danny, about a car length advantage for your leader. The other 4 nose to tail now, as once again Erickson took a peek. He's back in line now, trying to hold on to that 4th position.
Looks like they're coming up on some lap traffic. They're going to throw out a blue. You see it in the corner right there. That's just giving that driver a warning. Hey, slow down a little bit for me. And then you got one that may have a mechanical in 6, so you got to be super careful, Eric. Take another pass. I don't know if it was a blue flag or a caution flag.
Oh.
Eric Evans. Ryan Florentino, that's 3 out of the top 5 coming up on lap traffic. You got to just be so careful there. You got to be so careful there. And there may have been a yellow flag, too, so the race director is really going to have to look at that and see what happened, because you cannot pass under yellow. Coming up on lap traffic again. We'll see if Danny May takes it here. Yep. Jarvis Lee and Danny. And it looks like Wesley Bacon, maybe? Is that what card I'm seeing?
Yeah, I believe so. Looks like he's running up there. Really changing the field there is that Calamity Corner hit, and those carts, you see the drivers confused and angry as they were in that incident. Didn't know quite what happened.
It's so hard as a driver just to come up on lap traffic, and you try to take a move, and if that person in front of you makes the move, and the lap traffic closes the gap to where you can't make a move, it's just one of those things. That looks like Eric Evans in front to me for some reason.
Yeah, that is the 29 card of Erickson Evans.
So it looks like I was thinking I saw Eric in the spin out, but I guess not. And it looks like he took advantage of it and got in front of Jarvis and Danny May. Let's see as we come across the line. Yeah, so Eric Evans, I don't know.
We kind of lost him there on timing and scoring there for a second, but he is your leader.
I thought he was in the wreck there, but he got through the whole thing and came out with the lead. And that he was in 5th place, losing the draft, and they started battling, and that's what I was telling you. The kid just has talent, and so you see a yellow flag being thrown, you cannot pass under that yellow flag, and it's only in that corner. So once that corner comes away and you're clear, you're good to pass again. But in that corner, about 100 feet on each side, do not pass.
Your leader, Erickson Evans, in car number 29. Second place, Danny May in car number 9, and Jarvis Lee in the 992, running in third, all within a half second of each other, as you see there on your screen.
If Noah Ping and Juan Pablo Garcia can work together, they're only about 2 seconds behind, so you can see them coming in. They still have an opportunity if they work together, and you get some battling between these top three. But Danny May's in second, and typically Danny May goes with the mindset of, I just want to cruise control until I get to the last 2 laps, and then I want to battle. I want to lock my position in, and it's the smart way to race. You just keep the draft, and if you have the faster kart, stay behind that person and push them and make your move in those last 2 laps.
Definitely easier to make a pass if nobody's behind you trying to get your position as well.
For sure, for sure. Jarvis Lee staying right there too. It's 2 karts working together, 3 karts working together, and then you got 2 karts working together, and they're going to give Wesley Bacon a chance to get into there, and maybe they can draft up to those leaders. We'll see what happens. I think we have we already missed the halfway? Are we 4 laps to go?
Yeah, we are now 4 laps to go here in our tag senior, or correction, Lo206 senior, Lo206 master. 3 to go, actually.
Lap traffic again. And with that lap traffic, sometimes these guys are ignoring the blue flag, and that race director's got to make the call. Do I black flag this driver because they're just ignoring it constantly, and have a conversation with him when he gets off track, or do I continue to let him race? It's one of those hard decisions as a race director to make, because you want to give everybody their fair opportunity to race, and a lot of the guys, like I said, the winter season are trying to learn this. They're new to it. They've never raced the track before, so.
When that flag is given, Lucas, what does the race director hope they do? Hold the line that they're in, or is there a certain area of the track the race director would like to see them take?
Yeah, so when the blue flag goes out, it's just warning the driver that's about to get lapped to just hold a race line. Get out of the way. You got the lead pack that you don't want to mess up their race.
Right.
So you're slower, you're off pace. Get out of the way, let them race. Once they pass, you go again. And typically you just have to look out for the first 3 on that.
2 laps to go now as they work their way up the hill here this afternoon. You see your top 3 cars on the screen: Erickson Evans, Danny May, and Jarvis Lee.
Yep, they're just doing a smart race right now. The 2 and 3 need to work a little bit together to get the gap off of Erickson, but Erickson, man, he's top notch. He's going to be hard to pass. He is going to be hard to pass. There you go. So it looks like Danny's able to get a run on him, come in through 8. So Danny could be okay with where he's at for the final and not be too aggressive here, but knowing that guy, he's gonna try to pass him.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for your leaders, your top 3 cars there. Some passing on a little further back in the field for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Keep an eye on our leaders here going through our final turns of this race.
So Danny May's not going to make a move until he's going into 6 or going into David's Bend. I can go ahead and tell you, you may see him stick it in coming into this. We'll see if Erickson takes the inside line or the out. I always like making drivers go on the outside of me. They have more track to go. And, yeah, you'll see him. So he's going to swing it out wide. He's going to swing it out wide again. And then you're going to see him come on the inside of 8 right here.
And Erickson's expecting that move as he looks back from the lead.
Oh, he's taking the outside. He's taking the outside. Here we go. Oh, and Jarvis is pulling the inside too. He's using Danny's draft to take the inside. Let's see what happens here. Oh, Erickson. Wow.
High line, momentum, speed through that corner. It looks like it's going to be
Erickson Evans. Wow, he held it outside. So he gave Danny the run on 8. Going into 9, he got the run because he kept it outside, had more speed coming down the hill. What a great finish.
Once again, your leader and your winner, Erickson Evans, over Danny May, Jarvis Lee, Wesley Bacon, and Juan P. Juan Pablo Garcia, your top 5. Lo206 Master is going to be Chris Orencia over Philip Tidwell.
Yep. And pile up in that race, messed up some of the top 6 racers. Race director's going to have to look at a few different excessive runoffs from my sites. Usually I have to race direct. We're training Eli Bearden today, so I get to be on the announcements. It's a lot funner, a lot less
A lot
being
less
yelled
stress.
at. Yeah.
When people come into race control, they're not coming to look at you. They're coming to look at Eli today.
Yeah. I point my finger. I say, hey, go look at Eli. He's the one you get to yell at today, you know. But he's doing a great job. I think there's going to be a few excessive runoff penalties from what I saw. Maybe one in the top 3 that I saw that has a penalty for that, and that'll be a 2-second penalty. And like I said, that 2-second penalty could drop you 4 spots just in the top 4. So something to look at.
Once again, if you're just now joining us as we get an instant replay, talk us through this, Lucas, as to what you see on the camera here.
So you got three trying to go wide right there in the S's, and you just don't do that. Somebody's gonna go off balance. So it looks like he took the inside. Somebody well, they were just going too wide. So it looks like that inside line driver took his line, held his line, tried to float it out a little bit. Let's slow it down. Let's see right here. Yeah, so I don't think I think that's just a racing incident. I mean, both drivers had the inside. If anything, it would be an incident on the outside driver who seemed more upset because you gotta allow a little bit of room for that driver, and he tries to cut in on that driver that was taking the inside line. So I would if I was race directing today, I would call that a racing incident. But that's a good thing that I'm not.
So should we be expecting to hear the elevator ding here in just a few moments? Some upset people here in race control. Once again, tuned in live to Atlanta Motorsports Park for the Winter Shootout Series. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you the coverage here this afternoon on a beautiful sunny fall day in the hills of Dawsonville, Georgia. About 43 degrees now. Cool track temperature is going to make for a challenge for these drivers. As we roll into our next group, it's going to be our Tag Cadet and Tag Rookie. Got a great field of those cars getting the karts staged up and ready to go in the pit area.
So got a few drivers going to be heading out straight to Vegas after this race. You got the biggest race in the United States, Super Nationals in Vegas with SCUSA Racing. And, man, you want to talk about the craziest racing you'll ever see.
And that's held in a parking lot,
it's
I believe.
It's in a parking lot of the Rio Hotel. Last year we went, and it was in the Vegas Motor Speedway parking lot. They had some issues getting the hotel to lock in, but they're back. They're back where they started that thing. It is one of the greatest programs I've seen. You got one of the biggest ambassadors for the sport with Xander Clements. That's going to do what we're doing today, and he's going to be the broadcasting for it with his business, Kart Chasers. Xander is a dear friend of mine. He started here at AMP and has just created an ESPN for karting. He's helped build the sport and take the sport to where it's at, and it gives us opportunity to have fun on our weekends to call a race like we're doing today, you know. So we appreciate everything Xander does. If you want to watch some awesome racing this weekend, go follow Kart Chasers on Facebook or YouTube and subscribe. And, man, you want to talk about a broadcaster who knows what he's talking about, that's your guy.
Kart racing really taking off, of course, really taking off here at AMP at the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
And you see a lot of, like, NASCAR, even I mean, the road racing is what's entertaining to people, you know.
Right.
NASCAR's done a lot of great things, but when you're watching a race sometimes 500 laps of a circle, it's not as entertaining as it is on a course that has some right-handed turns too.
Absolutely.
So even NASCAR is starting to realize that, and they're adding a few road races to their schedule. I think they bought Road Atlanta and maybe doing something with them. We'll see.
Getting our karts lined up here. We'll see if we're going to go green. Going to be a false start. Our lineup here on the pole, Talon Laney on the outside, Adam Durst. Matin Fanian. Did I pronounce that right, Lucas?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine with names, brother.
Gabriel Lopez Velarde in fourth, Ryan Perez in fifth, Ruben Greer in sixth, Isaac Carvalho in seventh, Callan Berghofer in eighth, and Francisco Puerta in ninth. That's your starting lineup.
Yep, so you got two different classes again here. You got Tag Cadet and Tag Rookie. You'll see the rookie class probably be a lot more competitive, a lot more passes than the cadet class. Got a Talon, Adam, Martin. I don't think there's an R, so I'm going to go Matin.
Matin. We'll stick with Matin in car number 99.
And Gabriel in that cadet class.
Open third time's a charm. We'll
So
look for
they're
the
trying
green
to do a
flag.
split start. They're trying to do a split start, and what you want, and it's a lot harder to teach with these younger kids how to keep a gap between. They typically are nose to tail, but it's all about learning. It's all about learning. Talon took the lead. Looked like Gabriel just took it right back to him in four.
Good shot of the corner there as those drivers head in.
Talon took it back. So Talon in first, and then you got Gabriel. You'll see a battle all day between these two kids right here. They are two really good racers. I think they're in two different classes, but I'm not 100% sure. I know Gabriel was looking at moving up. I don't know if he decided to move up in the winter series or if he's going to do it for next summer series. So you got Talon taking the lead over Gabriel, and yes, they are in the same class. They are both in cadet.
Talon Laney once again as Gabriel takes a look.
Wow, taking him on the outside, going into four up the hill. So he just had that momentum and carried it up the hill and just went with it. It's hard to get somebody up the hill on coming over four on the outside, but he did it. Great racing so far between these two.
17 turns make up the course here, and you really have to find out which one's your best and which one allows the most passing opportunity for you and your race machine.
For sure, for sure. And you got a good battle between Matt and Adam Durst. Even Isaac Carvalho is right there, too. Isaac is in a different class. He's leading his class right now. And then you got Ryan Perez and Callan.
Yeah, as our top two cars kind of spreading a
both
little
of them
bit.
too wide right there coming on front stretch. Looked like two people got a different pass. Which gave Callan the opportunity to get back caught up because he was about a second behind right there. Callan taking the inside.
Adam Durst in car number 81 with a pass there. He's leading that pack over Matin Fanian.
And Callan gained a position right there. It looks like Gabriel is out there running with it, and you got about a 2-second gap behind Talon, and then you got another race going on between the next five drivers.
Lucas, will you see these cars here working together to catch those front two, or is that just specific for that last class?
Yeah, so it's a lot stronger of a chance with that last class, but there's still a draft in this class. But you'll see a lot less of that action, especially with the younger drivers, because they're trying to constantly make moves. They never want somebody in front of them, and they'll learn that with their maturity of racing and growing there. Callan just tried to take somebody on the inside, and you just see a lot more them being aggressive, because I remember me as a kid. You probably remember you. You never want to see somebody in front of you in anything. So
even racing your cousins and friends in go-karts at the putt-putt track.
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't want anybody in front of you.
For sure.
Getting some great Skycam views here this afternoon from our cameras here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park as you're watching the Tag Cadet and Tag Rookie divisions on track. Your top two cars, there's your leader, Gabriel Lopez Valerde, crosses the start-finish line, second place. Talon Laney, about 3.8 seconds back. Then the battle on your screen now for third, fourth, fifth, sixth. All right there on top of each other in seventh, with Isaac Carvalho bringing up the tail end of that pack.
And Callan looked like he got another position, so he's just moving his way up. He may be in first on that rookie class from what I'm seeing. So Callan jumps from third to first on the rookie class. And Blake, as we expected, that last race got a few drivers upset, yelling, not yelling, but trying
expressing
to
their viewpoints in the race control.
The LO Senior race, as we expected. So we'll see what the race director decides to go with, and hope for a good race on the final.
Working at lap number 5 here this afternoon in our tag rookie and our tag cadet class.
Somebody looks like they could take the inside line. Nope, just got really close there, but should have more momentum coming out right here, and he just tucks it back in, trying to stay in the little bit of draft that they got. Callan doing a good race, not making any crazy moves, knowing that his opponent in front of him is in a different class, that he does not have to beat that guy. But if he stays close, that he's in a safe position. So he's really gaining on him on the backstretch. And here we go. Like I said, you never want to see anybody in front of you, even though it doesn't affect your position. He's wanting that position. So
you almost feel safer, Lucas, in that position, knowing you only have to watch what's behind you, not what's in front of you as well.
For sure, for sure. So I get it. And Callan's a great racer. He started in our summer series. I think he's gained a second every race day. So he started at like 13 seconds, and he's down 13 seconds so far. His dad Corey's a great coach, a great guy, and we see a lot of that at AMP. Our members, just great people and out here all the time, just positive attitudes, and they're one of my favorite people to be around, just because they're here to have fun, they're here to race, and Callan is growing, and they get to see growth in their son.
It's kind of similar to what you see with the stick and ball sports, maybe travel softball, travel baseball, except right here you watch what your kid can do behind the wheel of the race carts here.
For sure. I mean,
an affordable entry here. It's not. There's different divisions and levels.
I mean, I think karting is very comparable to travel baseball. I did travel baseball when I was a kid, I mean, you're talking about a go-kart being on this level. They even have advanced motors with the mini Swifts and micro Swifts, and you're somewhere between $5,000 to $10,000, and that lasts you for a long time. Where baseball, it's somewhere between $5,000 a year, no matter what, you know.
New bat, new helmet, new team.
Yeah, and we've really put since I've started here, we really just wanted to grow the younger classes, because it's a lot harder than it used to be to get kids outside, you know. Like,
absolutely.
You got the video games and stuff like that, but I think these kids, the amount that they learn and get to experience life out in sports is just what they need. You know, I got a 3-year-old at home, and I can't. He's already bugging me to drive, and I can't let him drive until he's 5 on this track. But he always comes out with me, comes to work with me a few times, and he's just ready to go. I'm like, I'm not ready for you to drive yet, buddy. You can't even talk good yet.
Starting them younger and younger, like you mentioned, ages is a minimum of 5 here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park to get on track. As you have a great view here of Adam Durst, your leader of this pack, with Ryan Perez, Matt Faney, and Isaac Carvalho.
And Callan has really just separated his distance between Adam, and Adam separating his distance a little bit from Ryan. And you got a good battle between Ryan, Matten, and Isaac, so we'll see what happens there, because they're all battling for second, third in their class.
All this happening behind your leader, Gabriel Lopez Velarde, turning about a 58.69 second lap, comparable about 2 seconds off for the cars you're seeing here as they make it out of the corner there wide, come to start finish. 3 laps to go for our competitors in this race, the Tag Cadet and Tag Rookie. Through the turns and up the hills here on the 17-corner course, the Atlanta Motorsports Park, as you're watching our Tag Cadet and Tag Rookie class.
So it looks like we got 2 to go, and Gabriel and Talon look like they're going to stay where they're at. Gabriel just a dominant run today. I mean, 10-second gap in the pre-final. It kind of reminds me of that Oliver Cadet race we were watching earlier. But we're starting to get a little bit of a battle between those rookies for second and third. See what happens with that group, and hopefully Adam Durst can stay out of trouble with those guys battling and hold his position on Matten.
So many different lines you see these drivers take on entry next to the corner, especially exit, and kind of sets up for the next corner on the course.
Here we go. Should hold the inside. Stick it in. Stick it in and go with it.
Gives him a little bump on the exit instead of sticking it in there. Lets him know that he is there and maybe keep an eye on him next time.
Which, now that I'm looking at it, I understand because the 2 separate classes, and he could hold it outside, going inside.
A white flag in the air for our competitors. Our top 2 have crossed the line.
Here we
see the pack here.
It's taking on Adam on the front stretch. You're going to see him tuck it back in. Doesn't have enough of a run. Yep. So you got cadet, rookie, and you don't want to be the cadet in the middle right now. You want to be able to be battling with the cadet in front. And
so, Lucas, mentally, do you make a mental note in your mind of who you're racing? I mean, those cars from the naked eye look comparable, exactly the same.
Yeah, and it's super hard to do. Frank Baldosher came up to me during our summer championship, and he's like, look, when I'm out there, I just don't know who I'm racing. So I'm racing everybody, and I'm trying to make sure that nobody gets in front of me. How do we figure out, since we are bunching up classes, who I'm racing against? And I was like, well, we're trying to grow the sport, Frank. I don't know how we do it. Can we
make a mental note? I mean, the 93's in my race, the 76 is in my race, and that's all I need to worry about. But like you said, you're racing there. I don't want nobody in front of me.
Yeah, and Frank, he was like, can we put like a blue sticker on the master class so I could see who I'm racing against? I was like, well, that's not the purpose, Frank. Then you're having to see who's in front of you. You don't ever want to see anybody in front of you. And he's like, you're right. And I'm like, you got a trophy room, man, that talks to that point. And Frank just laughed at me. And I always appreciate his advice because he's just trying to help. And it's just hard. It's hard with a lot of racers.
Right. As that race finishes up, Gabriel Lopez Velarde, you're a winner over Talon Laney. Your top 2 cars, and it's going to be in our Tag Cadet. Tag Rookie winner was Callan Berghofer, third cross the line and third overall. Getting ready for our KA 100 Junior and Senior races here this afternoon. Once again, you're tuned in to the Winter Shootout Series live from the Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia. Beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon here. We hope you're just now joining us. And if you can't join us in this beautiful weather, join us here on our live broadcast on YouTube and our Facebook page of the Atlanta Motorsports Park. We're on the Kart circuit here today. Over there next door at the big track, you'll see some other cars making their passes throughout the afternoon, as it is the X Experience, some Lamborghinis and Dodge Chargers and all kinds of vehicles out there making their passes here this afternoon. A busy weekend here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you the coverage here as you see the big track there on the tower of the Atlanta Motorsports Park, getting our cars staged up here Be going green here in just a few moments. Once again, our KA 100 KA senior class will have a total of 8 karts on the track at this time between those two. If you or someone you know is interested in driving on the track at AMP Kart Racing, arrive and drive. Public karting is open Tuesday through Sunday from 1 p.m. until dark, except for race dates like today. Reach speeds of 55+ mile per hour in our special European spec rental cars. Weekday private track rentals and Grand Prix events are available for groups looking to have a more exclusive experience. To learn more about public karting at Atlanta Motorsports Park, please visit us online at ampkartracing.com. Once again, thank you for tuning in here this afternoon. A beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon in the hills of North Georgia and Dawsonville, AMP Kart Racing. As you can see, our control tower, they're there getting our cars lined up in our staging area. Be going racing here once again. Some great camera views today on behalf of our camera folks here. We appreciate them giving us all the great views here. I'm Blake Smith on one side again alongside Lucas Arnett bringing you the coverage here. Lucas trading in the race director seat for the announcer's booth here today. How different is it, Lucas?
Oh, it's a lot better. I just was talking to the race director behind us, and that LO race, they had 2 guys come up that were in that incident, and they were just
didn't see eye to eye on what happened.
Yeah, and you tend not to. And the crucial part about being a race director is when you make that decision, you go with it and say, hey guys, you can talk to me and be upset all you want, but my decision's been made. It's time to move on from it. Let's go back to racing. You're in pre-final.
Right.
You're in pre-final. Save your breath. Save your energy and go back to racing, because my decision is my decision, and I've made it. When I first started as race director, it's very easy to be persuaded to change that decision. But I learned you stick with the decision that you make. Sometimes it can be wrong. You look at any sport. In Formula One last year, I think that decision was terrible for what happened in that final race to give the Red Bull car the win. But all in all, you make your decision, you stick with it, and you say, hey guys, there's no point of arguing. You're in my sandbox. You're playing in my sandbox. If you want to play in another one, go play in another one. But the decision I make is the decision that I'm sticking with, and that's what you got to do.
The KA 100 junior and senior here. Explain, Lucas, what is the KA 100 series?
So it's a 100cc motor. It's a 2-stroke motor. It is a little less powerful than that tag, and then you got the tag that's water cooled. This one is air cooled. It's just a stepping ground to the tag series with the IAMEs. But this class got brought in kind of just as that for a stepping stone, and it's become bigger than the tag class, which is not what the Pro Series wanted to happen, but because it's a lot more slowed down than the tag, and it's become one of the most competitive karts in karting in the world, and everybody wanted you to grow to shifter, but a lot of guys stick between KA and tag because just shifters it's a whole nother level. I mean, you got F1 drivers and IndyCar drivers that come out to our track and just get in a shifter cart to get in shape for their cars, because their body enduring a shifter cart is 10 times harder than an Indy car.
Wow.
Is what one of the drivers was telling us, who won the Indy 500 4 times. I don't have his name off the top of my head.
Helio Castroneves.
Yeah. So he was out here last year this time, getting ready for his season, and I walked up to him and I was like, you just having some fun today? And he said, nope, I'm getting ready for the season. There's nothing in my sport that gets me more ready cardio-wise than a shifter, and it's just brutal on your body.
So many G-forces in those cars as we rolling into our KE 100 senior and junior.
Uh-oh. It looks like Siminoff went off a little wide. I don't know if he got bumped or just went off, lost his grip.
I see those cars go directly underneath us here in turn number 4.
I was surprised he was able to hold his position, but the race director's got to make sure that he marks that as an excessive runoff. Even though you make a mistake and you use excessive runoff and you don't gain a position, it's still a warning. So you don't get an extra chance just because you made a mistake. That's just how it rolls.
Making their way through their first lap here of 12 in our pre-final for the KA100 junior and seniors. Majority of these going to be seniors. Just kind of one junior in this race.
Yeah, one junior, new guy trying to learn, super happy out there. He came up to me yesterday and he said, hey, since there was nobody else in my class, do I still get a trophy? And I was like, did you win? He said, yeah. And I was like, then yes, you get a trophy.
Yeah, you get a trophy, absolutely.
Yeah. So it looks like you got the Seminoff brothers second, third, and sometimes you got to, as another driver, separate them because they tend to work together, and you don't want that to happen.
Definitely some teammates built in there with the family.
Got a pass, and that's exactly what Sam just did, is he split them up.
Your leader, Spencer Mast, up front in car number 41, Martin Simonov in second.
Spencer Mast, his dad Roger, they started. They probably started before I started, but they were under our tent wrenching with Atlanta Motorsports Park, wrenching on them. Again, another one of those members that's just a joy. Look at that, 2 excessive runoffs. It looks like somebody's going to get a penalty because it looked like Martin again. Yeah, Spencer Mast went over to the DCT program, and he's just made leaps and bounds forward, and he's become a heck of a racer. Him and Gabe Spencer were battling for the championship for our summer series, and they tied, and it came down to who had the most second place victories to split the tie, and I believe Gabe took that. But man, Spencer, just from me watching him for the past 2 years, if I've seen anybody grow, he is on top of that list of just becoming a heck of a race kart driver, I should say.
Now, you talk about excessive runoff. Lucas, explain that to those folks watching.
Yeah, so you got on our track, as you see coming up the hill, you got 2 white lines on both sides of the track. And then coming into this turn, you see that you got big white and blue lines. If you get on the track limit lines, 4 tires off the track limit lines, that is considered using excessive runoff. Coming down 2, if you use excessive runoff, it is a major advantage because you're being able to swing it out a lot wider, and
carry
that's
more
why.
Speed, momentum.
Yeah, exactly. You got more opportunity to float it out and not climb a steep hill as fast. And so, yeah, I definitely saw one person that would need that. I'll leave that up to the race director. It's kind of hard to not make the call watching the races, still leaving it up to him and letting him make those calls, but that's just the kind of guy I am, and he loves me for it. I know it. But, yeah, you got to keep all 4 tires within the track limit lines. You can keep 3 on, or 3 could go off, and you keep 1 on. You're considered good. 2 on or 2 over it, you're still considered good, but 4, you're using it as an advantage, and
now, does it make a change if you run off that track onto the runoff if somebody makes contact with you?
Contact's a whole completely different story. So if you spun and did it by yourself and obviously didn't make a big lead change or anything, then no. But whenever you're using it to gain a position or anything, it's going to be that 2-second penalty.
The track's as wide as it is for a reason.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Coming over the lead, Spencer Mast just taking on almost up to a second gap on the group behind him. But you'll see that lead get more and more because this group, halfway to go, this group's going to start battling and doing passes. So as long as nothing mechanically happens, you see Spencer Mast taking this one home. Looks like Sam got in front, so Sam's in second. But his problem is the brothers are back together.
Right.
So one's going to say slingshot, and you're going to say engage, and something's going to happen like that movie we saw.
Family teammates working together on the Simonov brothers. All this going on behind your leader, Spencer Mast, who's getting ready to cross the start-finish line for the halfway mark.
And it looks like the older brother, I believe, is actually behind the younger. So you never know what you're going to get out of those two, because me and my family my younger brother was never going to beat me.
Right.
And I don't care how much I loved you. I think it shows that I love you a little bit more because you ain't going to beat me.
Yep. No matter the detriment it may take to your fellow competitors, it's a race amongst yourselves when it comes to that.
I would be I have 4 brothers, so I'm going to be way more competitive with them than I am with these other racers. I get bragging rights with the family over the racers that I never talk to. Give me the family all day. Coming into 9 right here. Looks like they're still gapped up a little bit, a little kart length or 2 in between each one of them. So for some action to start happening, which they're right on Spencer's tail right now. So I don't know if they're working together a little bit or Spencer made a little bit of an error. Sam's just touching his butt now on that bumper. And the older brother just tried to make an aggressive move right there on the inside of his younger brother. So he's wanting those bragging rights, it looks like, but you got to work together. And if I was them right now, I would say, hey, let's get a 1-2 finish in the final. Let's be smart here, not make any mistakes on taking each other out and be third and fourth on Sam. Just takes the lead on Spencer.
Yeah, lead change,
Wow.
and Spencer's not going to let him forget about it. He's right there on that back bumper of your leader, Sam Machado.
Yeah, I may have to take blame on jinxing that. I saw Spencer's gap there for a second, and the other guy's battling and gave him the call. So Spencer got it back. He's just so smart when he makes his moves. He's so fun to watch. And Sam makes his moves. Like I said, he's still newer to the track and newer to the sport. And sometimes Sam makes his moves, and you're like, man, that's not one I would have done. See,
contact. Wilhomp there on the left front.
And you're in the pre-final, so now he's going to end up starting 5th, and he could have just held that front row. It's just sometimes Sam's still learning, and he's just got to realize where he's at in the race and where he's going to be at in the pre-final. What's the difference between a pre-final and a final?
So if you're Sam Machado there, what is your game plan now? I mean, you're running 5th. You just want to make sure your kart wasn't affected by that spin or whatever it may be as far as handling?
Well, he was running 2nd, battling with 1st, and you got to realize this is the pre-final. So making those mistakes, and wow, the Simonoffs brothers just took over Spencer Mast. This is interesting. And so they're starting to battle now, and Spencer's put down to 3rd, it looks like. So race director is going to have to watch those top 3 because they're all battling. And but Sam's got to realize where he's at in the race, because he could have easily just held it in and battled on that last lap like I talked about. And then he's on the final starting 1st or 2nd. He's in the lead. He doesn't have to pass anybody in the final to get up to that top spot. And now he's going to be in 5th or 6th. And it's just something you learn when you're newer to the sport. Spencer on the inside got the older brother. Theodore took him back, so we'll see what Spencer can do coming up the hill and heading into 4.
2 laps to go here this afternoon in this pre-final for the KA100 Series Senior and Junior this afternoon. Atlanta Motorsports Park, I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you the coverage here this afternoon.
Heading into 6 with 3 laps to go. Spencer closing the gap a little bit. He got 1 position back. We'll see if it goes 2. And you got to wonder, is he going to make the move and try to get the pass so that he has pole? There's no points advantage. Or is he just going to stay in 2nd and hold off Theodore? So
keep those brothers separated for the final.
He can keep them separated for the final. But I don't know. Let's see, if he comes in 2nd, no, you would want to almost come in 1st.
Yeah.
So that it separates them, because you'll have on the left side, you'll have the P1, and then Spencer would be P2, and that would put the brother back in P3. So you want Sam to come back and be like,
And he's taking our advice,
Yep.
maybe taking a look here on the inside.
Yep, for sure. There he has it. I mean, he has it. He's just so articulate with his moves and where he makes them and strategic. He's just gotten so smart where he makes these moves, and it seems effortless. Like, it literally just seemed like he did not have to try, and now you got the brothers battling, which is what you want. Older brother says, younger brother, I'm in front of you. Coming back in the line, they're going to battle. See, older brother got it. So older brother gets bragging rights.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got Sam coming down in 5th. So that error just cost him
a great starting spot in the
spots.
final.
I mean, he's going to be on that 3rd row instead of the 1st row now. So it's tough. It's tough. You got to just make those smart decisions on when to do it. Like Spencer's done. I mean, he's gotten to the point where it's just, all right, I'm in coming across the checkered line. He knows where he's going to make that move, and he does it, and it's just you can't even do anything because you don't know when he's going to do it.
Right. He knows when he's going to, but
Yep.
best kept secret's the one you keep to yourself and not let
for
your
sure.
other friends know.
He can do it on anywhere in the track. I can't say enough about Spencer Mast. He can come in, come down 2, be aggressive, float that, and take a very early corner. And then he can come up 4 and get you on the outside. He can come outside of 4 and get you before the kink. He could get you in 6 on the inside or outside. I've seen him pass everywhere, and it's just like an artist the way he does it. Spencer Mast is fun to watch. Theodore brothers are going to have something for him, being right behind him in line. Well, actually, no, that separated the brothers, actually.
Yeah.
So you got them, and they can't work together as much as they would want to. And then Sam's got his work cut out for him, but I think he has an opportunity to get back in that top 4 to make something happen.
You see our instant replay here from the last pre-final where contact where the 5th place car, Sam, goes for a spin there. Regains control in that 06 machine.
Yep, right there. Just tried to cut it inside, which floated Spencer out. So he lost 3 positions essentially from that. Sam wasn't close enough to make that move, but he was trying to be aggressive and do it, and it's just another thing that Sam gets to learn from because he is fast.
Once again, you're tuned in to our Winter Shootout Series live from the Atlanta Motorsports Park in beautiful Dawsonville, Georgia. As our temperatures warm up here today, started out a cool morning, about 35 degrees. As qualifying and practice took place, now we're looking here at our official weather app and radar here, 46 degrees, so about a 10-degree difference from where we started this morning.
Yeah, and that's a big difference, man, because you got to think that asphalt is probably another 10 to 15 degrees above that. That blacktop gets a lot warmer than it is outside, and you're going to start seeing some guys that are able to get some grip, and you're going to see some aggressive moves in these finals. It's going to be fun to watch.
Going to be an exciting afternoon of racing, and we're glad you are joining us here, either live in person or on our live broadcast on YouTube and our Atlanta Motorsports Park Facebook page. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you all the coverage here this afternoon as you take a good look at our AMP Kart Racing Race Control here this afternoon, where all of our broadcasting and decisions are made here this afternoon. A great day of racing thus far, and we're glad you are tuning in.
So, Blake, do you live around here?
I do not, Lucas. I am from Owensboro, Kentucky, about 6 hours to the north here. So come down here doing some kart racing coverage. My usual forte is asphalt and dirt racing. 4 corners is what I'm used to. So adding 13 to it's a little bit of a challenge here, but I'm enjoying learning, and it's been a great experience so far.
Cool, man. I saw you wearing the pool room Dawsonville shirt.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You got the
Went down and saw GP and the guys yesterday. But this is my first trip to Dawsonville. Been here a few times. Trying to make a trip down at least once a year and visit my friends down here. Went and had dinner at the pool room last night. Saw GP and the gang down there. So it's great to be here and take in.
What'd you get at the pool room?
I got the
bully
hamburger
burger?
Steak. No, bully burger's a favorite, but I tried the hamburger steak. It was good. Not a bad meal at all there at the pool room, period. And I told GP, I said, I'm glad to see you looking into this marketing side of it, getting these T-shirts and caps available for folks to take home with them and to order online. So if you haven't been to the pool room lately, check it out. Make a weekend trip out of it here to at Dawsonville, Georgia.
Yeah, one of my favorite places running the racetrack up here is just go in there and get a good old greasy burger.
It is. It's great.
Fresh cut fries, and don't want to do anything back when you get back to work, unfortunately.
Right.
But it's a great feeling just to get that burger. My bully is my favorite right there.
And you get some slaw in there. You can't beat a burger with that.
No, sir.
They
So
thought
have
I
you
was
been to the,
crazy.
yeah.
When I go back home to the racetracks where I do my announcing and broadcasting there on the radio stations and racetracks, and I tell them in concession, I'm like, you ever thought about putting a slaw on a hamburger? They look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, hey, it sells at the pool room. Take a look at it.
Yeah, for sure.
So
have you been up to the Bowling Green track up there?
yeah, I've been down there to call some events. A great facility they have there in Bowling Green, of course, home of the Chevrolet Corvette.
Yeah, they came out a couple weeks ago, and that guy that's running that, I think his name is David. Great guy. But it sounds like they got a heck of a track over there with. From what I heard, they had a sinkhole on their track at one point.
Well, they had a sinkhole in the museum for sure that took a toll on that property. And then, like you mentioned, just had a tornado move through Bowling Green back in December of 2021 when the storms and tornadoes struck western Kentucky. And so, yeah, a lot of work's been done to that. They had to redo their tower completely. It was completely demolished by the storm. So they've done a lot of work to it and slowly getting that place back on the map. It's a great facility, whether it be the museum or the track.
And from what I understand is the Corvette production plant is right across the street.
It is.
Yeah, so I was talking to the guy, and he said when the tornado hit, they were really close on. I don't know the exact number, but I want to say it was around 100 Corvettes that they just had to basically crush.
Yep.
From the plant being confiscated, and then they had their garages at the racetrack with 15-plus Corvettes.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of them that was in a garage was done for.
Oh, yeah.
And then they had one Corvette Z06 that they had parked in the parking lot, and it was like nothing ever happened.
Wow.
So the one that was out in the storm the most didn't get damaged, but the ones, unfortunately, in the garages, the garage latches came loose, and that garage just kept hitting it over and over. And
that just shows you that the cars can withstand Mother Nature to an extent daily, but when it comes to structural damage like that, it's a little hard to take care of those.
Yeah. So they're on the right path from talking to them, and I wish them the best of luck. We had a bunch of different tracks out and gave them kind of the opportunity to learn from us some and what we're doing good and give us some advice on what we could improve on, and that's just the mindset here is we want to get as much people as we can in the sports. We're always willing to help, and we had NOLA out here. We had some tracks from up north. Utah Motorsports was out here, so we're going to next year hopefully travel to one of their tracks and point out what they can learn from or what we think they can improve on, and take a bunch of ideas from them, because ultimately the more people we all get in the sport, the more people we have in each other's businesses. So.
And that's a great mindset, Lucas, as far as tracks working together, because when it comes down to it, you're not competing with Utah. You're not competing with Nolly. You're not competing with Bowling Green. It's everybody working together to make their product the best it can be.
For sure. I mean, we got Lanier Motor Speedway down the street about 45 minutes from us in Brazelton, and then you got Road Atlanta. And Road Atlanta is a little bit different than us. Their main tracks got a little bit different of a strategy. So not a competition again. And then Lanier Motor Speedway, the Caffeine and Octane bought them out. Bruce, the owner there, bought them and is doing a lot of drift events. And they're also doing a little bit of the public karting, nothing on the racing side. But Caffeine and Octane needed some help, and we've helped them out a little bit and helped them learn a little bit more, because you come from a drifter and you go to karting, it's a little bit different.
Absolutely. You're seeing our start-finish line there, a little different from what you saw throughout the day. These cars are actually going to start and do a start from the stop there rather than a rolling start, so getting these cars lined up for our shifter series, which will be our final pre-final of the afternoon before we head into our finals here.
Looks like we got 4 today. Yesterday, I think we had 3.
Yeah, so added one cart to it. Looks like maybe the pole sitter, Tyler, they're going to be joining us. He wasn't here with us yesterday.
Yep, so Tyler, pole sitter is actually Daniel Perez. Daniel Perez is one of our younger talents that is just unheard
Put on
of.
a dominating performance here yesterday.
Goodness gracious, man. He was the winner of our tag series VRD, so he gets to actually drive a VRD F4 car as a practice day, learn about him. And if he does a really good job, VRD may say, hey, we have a seat opening up, and we think you're talented. They really want to go after those young drivers, and I want to say Danny is 15 years old, and, man, he has just been a great advocate for us at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Does a lot of private coaching for us, and he set the tag record on his second time out here. Just one in a lifetime talent that you just don't see often. I see Danny going big places in the future.
Atlanta Motorsports Park, a great starting spot for a lot of youngsters and adults in the racing community. A great environment here as we are working our first lap of our final pre-final of the day. Be our shifter karts.
Yep, Danny already off to a massive lead, but it looks like the back three are bunching up a little bit, so may see something interesting from them. Got the front stretch guys standing there. Joey's calling starts today. Joey's the assistant ops manager here. Calling those starts, you just want to make sure, obviously this race is a lot different. Standing start, so you just kind of throw the green flag, but those rolling starts, he's just looking, making sure everybody's bunched up real close, real tight inside those tram lines so we can get a green flag. And then it looked like you had Hunter Holsey throwing flags as the flag corner marshal today. Great employees here. We love all of them. So can't give enough kudos to those guys. They make this happen.
Quite a battle going on here for second between the 77 of Osley Cheek and Robbie Campbell, second and third place there as you see them on your camera. Fourth place, Tyler Witt seems to be trying to find his bearings still a little loose on entry there, trying to get some heat in those tires. Maybe not intentionally, but trying to get the kart feel there.
Yeah, just up here in race control, saw Cade Cohen, who's our lead tech guy, probably the guy that gets yelled at the most out of everybody here, going through the motors, checking everything out. And looks like he was handing out some DQs coming up to timing and scoring for something he found that wasn't right. So tough for the racers. It could be position penalty, could be DQs, disqualifications. Hopefully we'll get to find out what he did.
As you're watching our final pre-final of the afternoon, making our way through here, your leader by a commanding distance is Daniel Perez, 4.5 seconds over second place, Osley Cheek in car number 77.
The one thing I do want to know is I looked at that shot we just had and those flags and how hard they're blowing. Does it affect these guys? You know, like they're going so fast. You're driving down the highway in your car. You get a big gust of wind, and it kind of like shit wakes you up again.
Right.
So with these little karts, I don't know if the air hits them as hard with how small and low they are to the ground, but it's got to make you wonder.
Battle still going for second with Oz Cheek and Robbie Campbell, your second and third place cars, as you see Daniel Perez getting ready to cross the start-finish line right there.
Look at that gap. I mean, he's unheard of. 15 years old running these karts. So on those karts, maybe they can zoom in a little bit on the FK coming up the hill. You'll see on their air cooler, he'll have a flap. And that's kind of the same thing as that duct tape to where they could take it down, where he can just move that thing up and down.
Interesting.
To adjust it. It's a lot easier to where you can adjust it as you go and move it up and down to where once you pull that duct tape, it's gone. It's just you leave it on the track. So
right.
He has a bigger advantage running one of those, and you can see him on those shots when they're coming around through 6.
Oh, as Campbell gets a little off the course there with that tire, sending him for a quick jerk there. He'll regain as the second place car. Cheek gets a little loose on entry there. He'll still hold on to second as the third place battle continues to heat up in our pre-final of the afternoon here in our shifter kart series.
Yeah, great race. And I think this is the battle between those two that we were seeing yesterday. We're really close, but with the conditions yesterday, weren't able to make those moves safely. So with these ones, you got to be a lot more selective on making the moves because you're going a lot faster than any other kart. And here we go. He should have something coming up 8 if he takes the outside on the backside. Yeah, swing it out wide, cut inside hard. Not close enough. So it looks like he's really oh, he hit that inside corner, almost lost it. It's a tough turn and shifter, that offset camber.
Halfway through our final pre-final here this afternoon, your shifter kart series. Your leader, Daniel Perez, by 7.6 seconds over Ozzy Cheek, your second place car. These carts definitely the fastest you'll see here today.
He should be able to get him on backstretch right here. He should tuck it inside now. Yep, boom. Just like that. That was perfect. Right outside that kink. He was coming down the hill. He saw that. Oh, he left it out too much.
Yeah, crossover move.
Gracious. He just floated it out too much. But coming outside that kink, he was almost probably a foot within a foot of him, and he knew he had enough of a run to take it inside, just like when we were talking about it. But in 6, he just overshot it, late broke, and gave him the opportunity for Oz to take it right back. So again, he's close enough to do the exact same thing. This time he may want to look on doing it the outside because Oz is probably going to stay somewhere in the middle of track. But we'll see what happens here. So, yep. Cut it again right now. No, Oz floated it inside, so he would have had to go outside. May see an over-under here. Let's see. No.
Nope, not quite close enough that time.
So that's definitely the spot you're going to see the pass happen. It was the same spot we saw it last time. He's obviously a lot more comfortable there, and that's where he's gaining the most on track. Coming up 2 through 4, and then outside that kink, he should just be able to cut it right inside again. He may have to do it outside because Oz has figured out what he did to make that pass.
You're watching the second and third place cars battle here in the final pre-final of the afternoon for the Shifter Kart Series. Second place, Oz Cheek. Third place, Robbie Campbell. All
this happening. He's not going to be able to do it here. Too much of a gap. So Oz is starting to separate. These are very endurance enhanced, so he may be losing some of that right now.
Time's picking up as we move along. You're starting out about 52 seconds. We're now sub-50s into the 48-second bracket for our Shifter Kart Series here today. Got some heat in those tires and making those faster laps each and every time they go by.
Yeah, Oz is starting to run away with it a little bit. It looked like Robbie, if he got that pass and was able to hold on to it and not overshoot that corner, would have been able to maybe had some more endurance, but it looks like he used it all on that one right there. Now he's just content on where he's at for the final. And Daniel Perez, we were watching an interview, and they were like asking one of the kids, who's your favorite driver here? And they were like, Danny, because it just looks like he's on clouds driving, and it's just so effortless. I mean, you see his posture, his head doesn't move, his body doesn't move. It's just like a statue in that seat, and that's what separates him. I mean,
and that's a 15-year-old kid behind the wheel.
15-year-old kid that is just, I mean, he's phenomenal on and off the court, as the basketball coach would say. He is a leader. He's something else that I think he's going to go very far in whatever sport he chooses in the racing industry.
So, Lucas, as the leader with such a commanding lead that Danny has, what do you do out there? Do you just try different lines? You just try to stay consistent? I mean, you're in a league of your own.
Yeah, I mean, he could easily just take it off right now and just, I mean, he's a second faster than everybody else on every lap right now. But, I mean, his mindset is such a championship mindset. And when you talk to the kid, he's just so hungry all the time. And came over from Colombia, and he's just so hungry that he's not ever going to slow down. He goes and goes and goes, and you're not going to ever get less than 100% from this kid.
Definitely a clinic he's putting on here today, just like yesterday. We're talking about Daniel Perez and that 582 machine as he makes his last few turns of the pre-final here on our final lap before we head into our finals this afternoon. You're tuned into Live Winter Shootout Kart Series from Atlanta Motorsports Park, Dawsonville, Georgia. Our final pre-race here.
Coming over 8, Danny it's just so smooth. It's just so smooth. And he's on an OTK kart, and OTK is probably the most dominant kart in every division besides this one. Usually Burrell and even IPK with FK chassis, Formula K, and IPK Pragas are typically the most dominant in these chassis, but he does it with anything he's on. And his dad says, like, you know, you're not always going to have the best equipment, but if you can race the best with the worst equipment, then you're going to be the best racer all the time.
Yeah,
and
you're
that's
doing
what you got to
something.
teach him.
Absolutely.
And he is. Whatever equipment he's on, he is. I can't say enough about the kid because he is just so dominant. I mean, it's just not. It almost seems not fair to watch.
As that ended our pre-race, our pre-finals for the afternoon for our Shifter Kart Series. Getting ready to head into our finals here. We are broadcasting live from the Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia for the Winter Shootout Series for our karts here. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett. Lucas, a big change for you, usually behind the race director seat, but you're behind the microphone today.
Yeah, big change. Good change because now I don't have to be outside in this cold weather. I get to be inside with you looking at a TV watching racing.
It is. It's a great position that we're in here.
Yeah, for sure. So this is going to be fun to watch, the moment we've all been waiting for. The final of the day. The finals have begun.
These races will be 3 laps longer each. It'll be 15 laps as compared to the 12-lap pre-finals. Getting our cars lined up here.
We'll see if any of these cats have anything for Oliver Neojet. I mean, just over the whole weekend, yesterday, just pure domination. Today, pure domination. And here we go again. He has the opportunity to do something great. That was a good move right there. I think we're showing a replay, but a great move coming out. Let's see what's happening here.
As you mentioned, Oliver putting on a clinic yesterday, but had some mechanical issues in his final. I believe a chain come off that race machine, so that inhibited him from going to the top of the podium.
Here they come out getting ready for grid. But, yeah, you got to think, like, what these dads that are typically these kids' mechanics are like, what do we got to do to get Oliver's speed right now?
Right.
Or who can we just send in front of him to at least slow him down for a little bit? You got to be thinking about every obstacle as the dad right now. And do I have the right gear? What am I doing wrong? What is it? My kid's driving? Is it me? What do I got to do?
Right. Always trying to be the best. And in the last race we had, Oliver was. We're getting ready to go green flag racing here. Hopefully getting the cars lined up and staged.
So Oliver P1, Lincoln Massey P2. David looks like he's in P3. Ricardo hops down in the middle, takes that. It's going to be a 3 wide right here. Oh, 2 wide. Looks like David may have hopped to second. David got a great start. Yeah, look, David took over Lincoln Massey. Lincoln Massey had a rough start, dropping all the way from P2 to P4, and there's already a gap.
Already a gap between he and third place.
Gap.
Oh,
pushed him out wide. Race director may have something to look at there. It was off the camera angle, but we'll see what happens there. But it looks like John Hutchinson just hops from, I think he started in 4th up to 2nd. Oliver just, again, off to a dominant lead, and we're not even a lap in. Look at that, Blake.
Your 2nd, 3rd, 4th place cars, they're bunching up, heading into entry of the turn. They're pretty evenly spaced there. Like you said, all that going on, but not Oliver, your leader.
Looks like Lincoln Massey just got another position back, so he hopped David for 3rd. So you got John in 2nd, Lincoln in 3rd, and David in 4th. Oh, here you go. Oh, almost looked like David was, or Lincoln left it open inside or outside open a little bit, and David tried to hop on it, but closed that door pretty quick. Oh, there you go. Lincoln taking in the inside of John, gives David some momentum to see if David does anything coming into 4. Oh, nope. John is saying, no, I'm getting this position back, Lincoln. Lincoln
A little out of
made
shape.
a mistake coming out of 4. opening the door for David, and David said, "I will take that."
Those are the passes you like to get as a driver, kind of given to you.
Here we go. Lincoln back in second, David in third. So Lincoln dropped off that rough start, went all the way to fourth, back up into second, and he says, "I belong." See if David says for how long. David right on that tail. Look at that coming into David's bend.
We'll see what he can do here into their final corners of this lap. A good passing zone here that we saw throughout the day. Looks like they're going to stay nose to tail.
I was telling David yesterday, coming in 9, he got over-under on coming into 9, and maybe he'll use that trick on Lincoln, who did the over-under on him yesterday to him today. And basically what that means is you're going to float it out wide because the inside runner is going to keep it inside, and then you come up on the inside, outside of the corner, exit, and typically you get a lot more momentum that way. And it's a fun move to watch because it's never expected. You don't see that person. You're thinking the inside always because the less distance traveled is usually the one that wins. But you float it out, you come in, and you get a lot more momentum on that exit. And you're just like, where'd that guy come from?
All of this going on behind your leader, Oliver Neighbor, at about a second quicker than the rest of the pack. As we watch the battle for second between Lincoln Massey and David Gilkowski.
And it looks like David definitely did some switching up on his kart and maybe switched up some gears because yesterday he was falling off, and the later the race went, the slower it seemed he got. But that's why those dads come in such handy, and they make the adjustments. They see the issues with the kart, and they're able to switch up different things. And he switched up some gearing, probably, maybe some width on the rear tire base, and he looks a lot faster than he did yesterday. But look at Oliver Blake. I mean, it's like he should be in a...
Yeah, he's in his own zip code out there up front.
He needs to be in the LO Senior race, you know. I know he's only like 10 years old, 12 years old, but goodness gracious.
Putting on a clinic here in our first final of the afternoon.
Yep, John started out extremely strong. He's one of the new drivers here at AMP. He's already come a long way. Great attitude. His dad also is a great guy, a great ambassador for the sport. And we got a lot of new kids in that have just created a fun culture here. And you'll see them in the parking lot throwing the football after their races, having a good time. But when it's race time, these kids are no longer friends, it seems like.
You're seeing Lincoln Massey, Lucas, making some different hand gestures and arm gestures. What is that telling his fellow competitor behind him?
Yeah, usually that just means, especially coming down 2, it means he may have made a mistake in his slow uphill, so he's telling him to bump his head. Hey, let's draft. Whenever you see the tap on the back of that helmet, it's saying let's draft so we can maybe catch this leader. Young kids like this, it's fun to see that they're picking that up from the older guys. You know, they're always wanting to be better and learn from the older guys, and that's what they're doing. They're saying, hey, let's draft. Maybe we have something for Oliver, but we don't unless we work together. So whenever he points it out wide right there, he's just saying, hey, we're going to float out wide. But we'll see if they want to work together, and maybe they have something for Oliver. I mean, coming through, it looks like.
Well, they're within the same second bracket that time, about a half second slower for Massey and Gilkowski in second and third than Oliver. So maybe it is working, or maybe Oliver's just out for a Sunday drive here in Dawsonville.
Yeah, Oliver's fast right now. I mean, it's gonna, even if they work together, it's gonna be hard to catch him. I know there's 10 laps to go, but it seems like they're not on the same page to be able to catch up to the leader working together. So if I'm in that third place spot like David, I'm going to just say, all right, well, I'm going to go after P2 and see if I can't catch the dude by myself. I'm going to make my moves now and start doing that.
Following the 7 car in 77, that is Lincoln Massey and David Gilkowski. Your second and third place cars nose to tail working their way around this 17 corner course.
David's fun, man. He is a good kid. He always comes in and he has a big smile on his face, and he's, hey, Lucas, how are you today? You know, and he gives every one of my staff members a high five. He's just one of those positive kids, but it's just what we see a lot of here at AMP. I mean, the culture between these kids is just so great and fun, and they're motivating to each other and wanting to grow, and it's fun to see these kids.
Because a lot of these kids, like you mentioned, they are kids. They're going to grow together. They're going to go up through these series together and race each other for years to come.
For sure. And it creates friendships for life sometimes, these things do. Coming into 6. I think David's happy with where he's at right now. He's probably wanting to get a little bit more of a gap on John because he's only about 3 seconds behind that group. It starts getting comfortable around 5 seconds to start making all the passes and moves, but he's really close here. I would expect something to happen here in 9.
Definitely letting Lincoln know that he is there.
He should float it in right now. Stick your nose in. Stick it. No. So he's content with where he's at right now. He had a great run coming out of 8 going into 9 where he could have stuck it inside and see if he had anything there, but right there they created a 4-second gap where it was 3-second gap from 4th place. So they may be looking. I see him looking back and seeing where that person's at to make something happen to feel more comfortable making the pass now that we only are halfway.
Laps winding down here, like we mentioned, just halfway in our first final of the afternoon for our Lo206 Cadet Series. Second place car, Lincoln Massey, David Gilkowski in third in the 77. Nose to tail working their way through these lefts and right-hand turns throughout the Atlanta Motorsports Park. He's right there, so if the 7 car of Lincoln Massey makes a mistake, it's going to be right there for the 77 to capitalize on.
He's got to cut in right there. He's got to cut in. He has such a great run coming out of 8. When he watches this film,
he's going to wish he made tried to make an attempt halfway through.
He may be saving it. He may be saving it and just being ready because he knows he has the run there. 9 is where you will see the pass from David.
Going up the hill there, it looks like they're just creeping. Well, they actually are up that hill as compared to what you see throughout the rest of the course.
So David's got a good run on the back stretch right here, but it's not going to be enough to make the pass in 6. A little hesitation from Lincoln right there. He may have thought David had a better run to make that pass, but David really close right here. We got 7 to go. He's going to get this great run, and he is going to tuck it inside. I just got a gut feeling right here. Float it out late. Float it. Stick it now. Ooh.
Still following him. Not quite ready to make the pass just yet. Is Gilkowski on Lincoln for second place. All this happening nearly 7 seconds behind your leader, Oliver Neighbor, in car number 10.
So that's kind of like an over-under right there. You saw him push it out real late, get a little bit more momentum coming up the hill. He may have something coming into 6 here. He's a lot closer. So, yep, you're going to see him come inside.
Lincoln Massey a little out of shape there a couple corners ago. That could make an effect into how Gilkowski makes this move. Working our way through the corners here. Again, you are watching Lincoln Massey, David Gilkowski battle for second.
See if he does anything here in the spot that I'm looking at that I think is the best opportunity for him.
Peaks down there just behind the trees, so we won't see
Oliver
it
had
until you do.
a better line on that one, so I wanted to have done the pass on that side. But David's starting to look a little bit better coming into 6 too, to where he may have an opportunity there. I think Lincoln has the better cart up the hill right now, so I don't know if you'll see a pass here. He gains a little bit on him coming up the hill too, though, so we'll see what happens.
Or, Lucas, is this just the situation where David and Lincoln both know they have nothing for Oliver, and maybe David's holding his pass to the end of the race for that second place position?
Could be very, very true. I mean, I don't, like I said, and with 10 to go, I would just start battling for that third position if I was David. I mean, he's 0.1 seconds behind him. He's closing the gap right here. he could have cut it inside there too. He had a really good run. He's got, let's see, he's got a good run. I couldn't tell from that angle on that one. But he's closing up. He's got like 2 miles an hour going into 9 and 6. So he's going to have an opportunity to pass. And maybe with when he gets that 2 to go sign, he's going to say, all right, it's time.
And if you're thinking our leader Oliver's slowing down, he's not.
No, he
just turned his
purple.
fastest lap of the day.
Just purple. Almost under 1.3.
An excellent battle still for the second position, as you see.
There you go. There it is. Very smart from Dave. Coming out of the kink, he had the more momentum. He touched his bumper, and he shot it inside. Lincoln holding the outside. Yep, David's cleared it. Great pass. Great job, David. Great job.
Great pass for David Gilkowski over Lincoln Massey, your new second-place car, that red and white machine. Car number 77 of Gilkowski. Lincoln Massey back to third. John Hutchison currently in fourth, and Ruben Greer in fifth is how they run here this afternoon, heading into the final turns of this lap.
Lincoln almost had something coming on front stretch for him.
Yeah, Lincoln gets to play the rabbit now and follow to see what he can do as he takes a look to the inside. They're going to be a side-by-side battle here. A little bit of contact.
Good contact. And Lincoln bragging, showboating a little bit. The race ain't over, buddy. The race ain't over. I don't know if I would be that confident yet. David's gotten some really good power coming into the corners. And look at this gap closing. Look at this. He's going to be into his bumper coming into the turn. Look at that.
Yeah, right there. Such a gap that was closed in.
He's got some crazy power going into the corners. So that's definitely going to be a different gear. And Lincoln may have chose more power going up the hill, where David may have chose more power in the straights. But coming down into 9 here, 3 to go, you're going to start seeing some passing between these two. And it started early.
Both high, wide, and handsome there on the exit of the turn number 17. Across the start-finish line, 2 to go.
David's gotten a lot. He has a lot more power than Lincoln on these straightaways I'm seeing.
And that's what's interesting about this course, Lucas, is, I mean, it's a combination of 17 different corners and straightaways.
For sure.
So you want to be sure to have your car equal. I mean, you're not going to be as good as the other guy in all the places.
No. So they're about a 2-cart length gap. Halfway through the stretch, it'll be 1, and then coming into 6, he'll be on his bumper again. Yeah. I mean, he's gotten a lot more power on the straightaways than Lincoln does, and should be able to make a heck of a move. Even coming through 8, I mean, he's pushing him. I hope he doesn't have a pushback bumper. I'm looking at his bumper, and it does look like it's hanging a little low. And that can happen sometimes with drafting. It may not. I couldn't tell from that angle, but it does look like it's hanging low, and that would be devastating position penalty.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for this field. Oliver Neighbor, your leader, he's about 11 seconds ahead of this pack, so quite ahead of the group here as you watch the battle for second in the final turns of the lap.
So here it is. This is David's opportunity. He could have been saving it in 2 different spots that I've seen, even coming up through 8. He can maybe swing it outside and float the inside coming into 8 because he carries so much more. There it is. There it is already. He has so much more power in the straightaways for some reason today, and he just needs to maintain it. Lincoln's so smart taking the inside back from him. David pushing the inside. We're side by side. Coming into 8, Lincoln thinks he has it. He's already celebrating. David back on his bumper. Coming into 8. Exiting 8. Let's see if David's got it coming into 9. Hop the inside right now. There it is. Hold the inside. Yep. Oh, he cut it off. He cut it off from him. Inside again. He should have enough momentum to carry it.
It's going to be close.
You're going to see it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I think David won it. David pulled it out. Wow, what a race. What a final
by
race.
By a difference of 1/100th of a second.
Oh, my goodness. I knew
David
when he cut it in.
I
knew when he cut it in that he had a chance carrying it outside, but wow, I didn't know if he had that much of a run, Blake. I mean, That's why you don't celebrate until the race is over.
And that was the battle for second.
Yeah, the battle for
So,
second.
What a race.
And Oliver just we haven't even been able to talk about him because
No.
he was so far ahead that he wasn't even part of the race, it didn't seem like.
Yeah, league of his own for Oliver Neighbors, your winner in car number 10. David Gilkowski in second, Lincoln Massey in third, John Hutchison in fourth, and Ruben Greer rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, Lincoln, I honestly think if he would just focus until the race is over and keep his hands on the steering wheel, you'd be surprised with how much momentum you can lose on just celebrating, doing that fist pump and stuff like that. And coming out of 8, he started doing the fist pump. Coming up 2, he started doing that. These young drivers get so excited, but they don't realize you're going to lose the race because you're celebrating before it's over.
A small jerk of the wheel or anything cuts the speed off that race machine.
Yep, and David had more power, so it was going to happen. And I just can't believe that that happened. I mean, that's got to be the closest finish of the year.
Very close. Once again, you are tuned in to the Winter Shootout Series from Atlanta Motorsports Park, Dawsonville, Georgia, here on a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon. Mid-40s on the temperature scale here. Track conditions warming up as we go throughout the day. We are heading into our third final of the afternoon. Getting a view there of the AMP Kart Works. Get an instant replay here coming to start finish.
And when you shoot it inside on that exit, it just seems so much faster and you're able to get more momentum. And wow.
By a coat of paint. Wow. Great racing thus far, and we've got plenty more left for you here this afternoon. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett calling the action here from high atop turn number 4. The Atlanta Motorsports Park, as you see a view of an inspection area there, getting our carts lined up, getting ready to go racing in our Tag Master and Tag Senior class. Be staged up 2 different races on track at the same time.
And we got a false start on our Tag Master and Senior class. Go back around that little jelly bean, and I almost wonder how you get a false start with 2 drivers in 2 different classes, but it happened. It happened.
We'll get them lined up here and hopefully see the green flag at this time by. Get a start in this 15-lap final for our Tag Master and Tag Senior class. Slow rolling 2 by 2, looking for the green flag at start-finish line this time by. Green flag is out. We are off to racing.
Leo already hopping out in front, even though he pulled off earlier to save that engine in qualifying and basically handing Sam the pole. I think that Tag Master class, if I recall, Blake, was the one that was pretty entertaining with some lead swapping towards the end of the pre-final.
It was between Conrad and Schumann. Definitely a good race for those folks. We look forward to seeing that again here as your senior leader, Leonardo Oliveira. Up front, like we mentioned earlier, he pulled off in his pre-final to save that engine for the final here this afternoon. We'll see if that pays off for him. A pretty commanding lead so far, even just a small amount of laps we have ran, completing lap number 1.
Yeah, Leo already purple, running a second faster than Sam on that lap, and Sam got a little loose coming up too, so he's going to lose even more time. And if I remember correctly, Mike started out great on that pre-final, and then James started getting better and better, and that's what got it to where they started swapping leads on the last 6 laps back and forth.
Yeah, the halfway point was definitely the critical point in that pre-final. We'll see what it does here as you're watching your top two cards. And it's going to be the tag senior, Leonardo Oliveira and Sam Machado. Oliveira crossing the line now.
Wow, Leo just went
51.5.
So
wow.
he just beat his last lap by 2 seconds and then beat him by another second, beat Sam by another second. So James Schumann, same thing. He just got faster than Mike, too. So they're going to start getting closer together if that continues.
Yeah, about 0.8 of a second difference between your carts in the tag master between Conrad and Schumann. Cart's getting quicker, Lucas. Is it because the tires are warming up, the fuel load's getting lighter, a combination of both?
Weight's not gonna adjust it much. That first lap typically is about 2 seconds off pace. That's just the drivers. The start, they're going a lot slower to where they come around the second time they're at full speed, and when they're starting, they're at 15 miles an hour. So you'll see like a 2 second difference on that first lap, and then you should just see tenths here and there moving forward. Leo just went purple again. He's down to a 51.1 even. Sam, again, a second behind him on that lap, so that puts him 3 seconds. So Leo is able to put a second on Sam every lap, it seems, so far. And Mike Conrad actually got a little bit faster that time and went 1/10 of a second faster than Schumann. So,
yeah, you're seeing that race on the camera now as Conrad of the 19, Schumann of the 384. Your battle for the tag master here this afternoon. Like we mentioned earlier, this race kind of separated to begin with in the pre-final, but as the race moved on, these carts got closer and more competitive with each other and saw several lead changes.
Yep, and wow, Mike Conrad and James Schumann just basically ran the exact same lap time. I mean, 0.0 separating them. And Schumann's definitely gaining on him right here. That gap is starting to close a lot. And again, Oliveira just domination so far. Almost 4 second gap now.
And as we mentioned, he's not slowing down, and knowing he has that commanding lead, he's turning purple and turning that fastest lap.
Every time.
Seems every time he crosses the start-finish line.
You are exactly correct.
Seen on camera now, your battle for the tag master, Mike Conrad and car number 19, Schumann in the 384. Conrad quicker that time by about 1/10.5 on the stopwatch. He gains him a little bit on entry into that corner there. Once again, Conrad in the 19, Schumann in the 384, making their way through the S's.
So just heard a corner marshal saying that they saw some debris on the track, and what that was actually the duct tape from trying to keep that system warming up faster, less cold air hitting it, and as they go by, they pull off some of that duct tape to get it cool again. Blue again, Leo was.
Conrad and Schumann keeping it about equal distance as they make their way through these turns here. Like we talked earlier, it seemed about 6 laps, so about this time when they really started closing the gap on each other. We'll see if they continue to do that here in the final as compared to the pre-final.
And that looks like exactly what's happening. I mean, we'll see whenever they come across the start-finish, but it looked like he just gained about 4 kart lengths there, which would be probably about a half of a second, and right now the gap between them is 1.3 seconds, so we'll see where they're at. I'm going to guess right at half a second difference now.
We'll see as they cross the start-finish line here.
Yep, so now they're half a second difference, so he just gained a full second on him that lap.
Yeah, absolutely. A full second, almost quicker for Schumann that time over Conrad. Definitely going to be a good race. All this happening behind your top 2 cars on the starting pylon. For your tag senior, it's Leonardo Oliveira and Sam Machado. Oliveira running about 6.4 seconds ahead of Machado.
Yep. He's closed it even more now, so get to see that battle we got to see earlier. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely, getting ever so closer each and every corner, each and every lap of this 17-corner course. The Atlanta Motorsports Park, you're tuned in to the Winter Shootout Series.
He lost him a little bit at 9, but it's still going to be about half a second difference. So he's gaining a lot right there in 2, and I think he's gaining a lot there in 6.
Yeah, that seems to be the good point for Schumann there on the track, where he really gains on Conrad in 2 and 6 on the course. The thing about it is you want to find your corners, Lucas, that are good for you to gain, but you don't want to have any bad corners where you really lose any.
Yeah, and right here, like you'll see, I mean, it's 3 kart links every time, it seems so far. Coming out of the S's, it seems like Mike takes a little bit of the lead. Coming into 9, he takes a little bit more. He slung it out a little bit wide right there, so Schumann should be able to be right on his butt coming out of this. A little closer. Just that little hesitation can make such a big difference. It's crazy to watch.
Really sends it in deep there, taking the high, wide, and handsome approach. He's going to pay for it on the exit, though, as the 19 of Conrad slides away ever so slightly there.
Yeah, coming up the hill, Conrad has a massive advantage. So he has his probably geared towards up the hill, and Schumann's got more in the top end on the straightaways, closing the gap right there.
As Oliveira crosses line 5 to go here in this final this afternoon. For the Tag Senior and Tag Master, you're watching your Tag Master battle right now between Mike Conrad and James Schumann.
Almost 10 seconds difference between first and second in our Tag Senior class. Just shows you all the hard work Leo puts in and day out. Still king of the court. You got young Sam just working every day too, but we'll see where they get maybe next race day.
Definitely no give up in this entire field because anything can happen, Lucas. I mean, Leonardo could have mechanical failure. Anything can happen, and that second place turns into the lead with the snap of a finger.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
Back through the S's once again, Conrad of the 19, Schumann in the 3.84 on your screen.
Getting really close to him now. I bet we're going to be within 0.3. Well, he just slipped a lot
slipped
there.
A little bit there and cost him definitely on the stopwatch and his link to the second place car.
Probably about a 0.35. Well, he made that mess up, so maybe still around half a second. Right now, last lap it was 0.51.
0.41.
Yep. So
that time.
He was a little bit faster that lap.
Some great camera angles here this afternoon from our camera crew here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park, the Winter Shootout Series. We greatly appreciate them breaking the code while Lucas and I are here in the climate-controlled confines of the announcer's booth.
For sure, but we can't thank these broadcasting group enough. I mean, what they've been able to do in this system, I'd say, of sporting was unheard of. You know, there was nobody that was doing live coverage of karting. There was nothing like this happening, even on the national level scale, besides a few here and there. But day in and day out on a club level race to be broadcasted live on TV with drone footage, corner angles. I mean, it's just phenomenal what Will Rigdon and crew have been able to do. And it's helped build this program to one of the top national level or club level races in the United States. So kudos to them for sure.
Yeah, I heard walking through the pit area this morning, hey, is this going to be broadcast? And, you know, a lot of people that can't make it here want to be able to watch it from home with friends and family, and then they can tune in. And also gives you perspective here. You can watch it live while you are here because you really can't see the entire track from the pit area or even here in our area in Turn 4.
And what they've been able to do with the instant replay, has helped me as race director when I'm race
Right.
director, being able to see those calls that normally I wouldn't be able to see unless the cart had a GoPro on it. And a lot of guys are going away from that. And so being able to use this as a tool to make the racing better too and being able to officiate the race has been immaculate. So I can't say enough about those guys.
Watching your battle here for our tag masters again, it's Mike Conrad of the 19, and wow, Schumann has really closed in. He's right on the tail bumper of your leader now. Looking to the inside, he's going to fall back in line.
Yep. Smart move there, smart move. He did not have enough run. He would have had a late trail break, gone out wide, and then Conrad would have just been able to go over and under, and he would have lost a lot of momentum. So very smart move there.
White flag in the air, 1 lap remaining for our entire field. Leonardo Oliveira taking the lead, a commanding lead by 15.2 seconds over Sam Machado.
See if anything happens. This is Schumann's opportunity coming into 6. He should get real close here. I don't think he has enough to cut it in yet. Close the gap. Now start cutting it in now. Ooh. He may think that he has enough overrun coming into 8 or out of 9. We'll see. He's starting to lose a little bit. It looks like I don't think he's gonna be able to make a move. Nah.
Corners winding down now, heading into our final set of corners here this afternoon for our final and our tag senior and tag master.
Cut it inside. Not gonna be enough.
Your winner for Tag Master, Mike Conrad over James Schumann. Again, your winner in Tag Senior was Leonardo Oliveira over Sam Machado. And you are tuned in to the Winter Shootout Series live from the Atlanta Motorsports Park in beautiful Dawsonville, Georgia here this afternoon. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett. If you or someone you know is interested in driving on the track at AMP Kart Racing, you can arrive and drive. Public karting is open Tuesday through Sunday from 1 p.m. until dark. Reach speeds of 55+ miles per hour in our special European spec rental karts. Weekday private track rentals and Grand Prix events are also available for groups looking to have a more exclusive race experience. To learn more about public karting at Atlanta Motorsports Park, please visit us online at ampkartracingwithak.com. You can see there the cars on the big course getting their driving experience in today. A beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon here in Dawsonville. Mid-40s, started out in mid-30s this morning, so track warming up nicely for our competitors here this afternoon. Getting ready for Lo206 Master and Senior final. Going to have a group of 17 karts on the track at the same time, running in 2 different races. Getting those karts lined up and staging right now. Be racing here in just a few moments. Also, Atlanta Motorsports Park hosts a monthly racing series at each track open for anyone wanting to race. You do not have to be a member to enjoy wheel-to-wheel driving action on either our 2-mile main car circuit or also on our 0.85-mile karting circuit, which is what you're seeing here today. Racing at AMP is so structured that anyone ages 5 and up can find a class, and that meets their skill level and budget. You can find out more by visiting our website at www.atlantamotorsportspark.com and look for the Race Series tab under Drive Our Track. Do you race in a class not featured at AMP? Any group with 5 or more cars of the same spec can register, and we will make a special group for you to run with points and a podium award. All of that happening at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Check out ampkartracing.com and atlantamotorsportspark.com. And we'll be right back live for the Winter Shootout Series at the Atlanta Motorsports Park right after this.
Alrighty, and coming back at you. Start of our LO senior race, it looks like. This is that one that was just a thriller, had a big accident in there, a couple race director decisions, off to a green flag immediately. Somebody on pole got a great run right there. 2 wide through 1, coming into 2, 3 wide. Coming up the hill, somebody just halfway in the grass. Look at him. If I don't have enough racetrack, I'll make it myself, he said. Look at them. They're being, uh-oh. Off wide, pushed outside, coming into the kink. And now we are single-filed finally. Looks like Erickson Evans and Danny May, Jarvis Lee, and our top 3 right there. Danny May and Eric, I very well could see them pushing together, making an extremely large gap, and then battling at the very end. Extremely smart and experienced drivers in this LO class. So should be interesting to watch and see what they do here. Jarvis Lee is starting to lose some momentum on them because they're drafting so well together. Let's see, coming across the line. Eric Evans goes purple, fastest lap so far. Danny May, Jarvis Lee, Michael Suko, Noah Ping. Michael and Noah look like they're starting to work together a little bit. Harrison Brown and Ryan Florentina, Chris Orncia, he's our LO206 Master driver in the lead. And then Philip Tidwell is LO Master, followed by Martin Neobjet, Luke Kondrowski, Wesley Bacon, and Stephen Fry. Erickson Evans, one of those younger drivers we talked about with the VRD program, started here at AMP, and heck of a driver, has gotten a lot of great opportunities overseas doing some racing and doing some stuff with VRD. Got a pass on the inside, it looks like, for Wesley Bacon. See if he's able to hold it. I don't think he got it. Coming back over the line, Juan Pablo Garcia goes purple there, 2/10 faster than our leader Erickson Evans. Very fast lap right there in these conditions. But Danny May and Erickson Evans really starting to spread the gap between 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. So they're working together, and the other guys are battling. So extremely smart on their race right now. Instead of battling, they're gapping. All right, coming back over the line again. Oh, look at that battle. That's for 3, 4, and 5. Oh, man, race director's going to have to look at that. It looked like Jarvis Lee did turn in a little bit on him. That made that other driver lose about 4 spots. From that view, it did look like he did make a move. Instead of holding a line, he jerked the wheel. You cannot jerk that wheel. You got to keep your line and hold it straight. As soon as there starts being hesitation, that's when that blocking penalty or even aggressive driving, which that would be considered in that line, just because it was a jerk instead of a fluid motion. It looks like Montoya is or Garcia is taking the inside line, may have gotten a spot there. And that Noah Ping is just saying to Jarvis, hit the back of my cart. Let's bump draft. Let's catch up to these leaders. Let's create another gap between these other 5, 6 drivers. And like Danny May and Erickson Evans are doing, they're just working together. They're not battling, but that's not the case for the 3rd place through 6th place. Ryan Florentino in 6th right now. Seems to be falling off that pack of 4's draft. Oh, inside. That's another one that race director is going to have to look at against Jarvis Lee and another driver. It looked like it could have been honestly payback. I don't know if that was the 2 drivers, but we'll see what the race director. He had his cut worked out for him in the pre-final with this group, having some conversations. He's going to have his work cut out for him again. That was some major contact down in 6. Looks like they're starting to get a little aggressive in this group. So we'll wait to see. I think 1 and 2 are fine, but from there back, there could be some penalties being handed out. We'll just have to see what happens. Erickson Evans went purple again, 102.3, but Danny May right behind him. It's just a nail biter between those two. Oh, look at the contact. These guys are going crazy right now.
Yeah, throw a blanket over that group of cars there.
No.
Contact. Allow for a spin there.
And it looks like the same 2 drivers that got into it earlier just got into it again. Wow.
As we believe we're going to see a black flag on the track here. The 06 of Wesley Bacon receiving the black flag on that incident.
Yep, sounds like the race director making a decision for some aggressive driving on Kart 06. We'll have to see what ends up happening with that. But we still got a good race on our hands. We got 1 and 2 neck and neck, and then they're about 6 seconds back is our 3rd place and 4th place, or 4 seconds, sorry.
Your battle there for the lead. Once again, Erickson Evans up front and Danny May in second, car number 9.
Yeah, they're just working together. They're creating such a gap that nobody could even compete with. So they'll battle pretty hard. 2 to go to 1 to go. That'll be fun to watch. Danny just observing what Erickson's doing. Erickson's smart enough to know what Danny's trying to read from him, so Erickson's going to be throwing different signals on different lines and stuff, so he switches it up towards the end. Noah Ping gaining a little bit.
Yeah, those two working together, Lucas, are about a second quicker than 3rd place of Noah Ping.
Yeah.
With that draft that they have going.
And I saw Noah was by himself. He was isolated a little bit. And when you don't have a drafting partner, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Nose to tail through these corners here as we have a spin of the 06 of Wesley Bacon, who had received the black flag earlier in the race.
It was actually not Wesley. So that's the Master Class 06 who spun, and he's the one who got the black flag for spinning.
Oh, all right. Almost seems like there that time that Erickson was waiting on May to catch back up to him. Had separated a little bit. Erickson looked back, and May was right back on his bumper after a small separation there.
Yeah, really close. They know how to race. They're setting it up to where they can have a fun battle at the end, and they know they're going to be P1, P2 coming up on a lap traffic on a LO Master class. It's a separate class, so they are going to be a slower group. So they're not part of that race that you see. He's actually the leader of the other class that just got passed. So 50-pound difference almost between the 2 classes, so that's why you see that weight difference with a big age difference as well.
Halfway.
Erickson just going purple again, but his purple is basically the same as Danny May's because they're working together. And they're in the 102s. That's really good for these track conditions right now. Garcia 102.5, so he's running with the leaders, but he's not able to get to the leaders is the problem.
Yeah, it appears maybe Garcia getting a little bit of help from Michael Suko on the scoring pylon. They're pretty close to each other there on the stopwatch. Working through the S's there. You see our top two cars, Erickson Evans and Danny May on your screen.
Danny May's quick. Erickson Evans.
And the only person who knows how quick Danny May is Danny. How much is he holding back?
Yeah. And he's got a great hill to climb to get around this driver. He's one of the best here at the track. He's with VRD. He's doing a lot of overseas car stuff, racing cars overseas. He has a lot of professional experience, and he used to do this a lot when he was younger, even though he's still extremely young. So Danny May has been super active in the past 2 years, so his karting level has jumped tremendously, and it's going to be fun to watch this final. 5 to go, coming up on 4 to go.
He's right there letting him know, giving him a little push on that back bumper through certain areas of the track, heading into David's Bend here now. We're looking at the start-finish line this time by.
Yeah, so Danny's got a good motor on the straights, but I think Erickson's pulling him up the hills, so there's a gearing difference, so you'll just have to see which one panned out better. Yep. Yeah, Erickson's able to pull him up the hill a little bit, but in the straights, Danny May has a little bit more power, at least on front stretch. Let's see what happens on back stretch. That's pretty neck and neck right there, so.
Through the S's once again as we see a battle a little farther back here for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh.
I think further back they just rotated positions about 3 times in that group right there on the screen.
You're looking at Harrison Browning, Noah Ping, Juan P., Jarvis Lee, and Michael Suko.
You see Noah Ping was touching something on the motor, so he's adjusting something as he's racing.
No, we have a battle now for third, side by side between those two go-karts. All this happening behind your leaders.
Wow. Wow, 3 wide. Oh, no, not into the kink. Okay, they tucked it in. Good. You don't get 3 wide and make it out with 3 carts on that kink. Cutting the inside. Somebody's taking the inside. Oh! There goes 2. 2 are out of the race from contact. So the leaders.
Your leaders once again, Erickson Evans and Danny May, looking for 2 to go this time by.
So here we go. They're going to start having some fun here. Are we at 2 to go?
Yeah, we are 2 to go. We'll be looking for the white flag this time by. These two have set it up the entire race to create some distance from them in third, fourth, and fifth, and they're going to take advantage of it and put on a well of a show for you fans here watching online.
Yeah, Danny May's going to want to make his move before the lap traffic, in my opinion, because that could mess this whole thing up and it could cause gaps. All right, coming up on 1 to go.
You will see the white flag this time by. 2 to go for that lapper, 1 to go for your leaders.
I don't know if Danny's going to have enough. I think he's going to have to literally make his move in the last corner.
And how much is this lap car going to affect? Not too much.
That's the good thing about that lap car was it was a different class. He received the blue flag, and he knows that's not his race, so he just got out of the way. So it didn't affect it at all, and I think you're going to see one of those finish line finishes to where you could fit an index card between the two, and that's going to be the decisive.
We've saw that happen plenty of times here today. We're going to see if it happens again.
Yep, Danny Mays laying a little back, and what he's trying to do is coming over 8. He's going to create more momentum and swing it out wide, cut it inside. Yep, cut it inside, and now he's going to have the outside corner going in here. And then he's going to cut. What he's going to do is he's going to stay outside wide, cut it in. This is the over-under. But Erickson closed the under. There it is, right there. It is beautiful how he's able to do it, and he's going to get the win. It is beautiful how he did that.
Followed in second the entire event and made the corner pass where it happened on the last quarter of the last lap to get that win for Danny May and our Lo206 Senior.
And here you go, another battle. There's 3, 4, and 5. Great race, Noah Ping on podiums. But wow, that over and under, how Danny May pulls that off every time. It's like Erickson almost was able to close it on the exit because he knew what he was going to do.
He definitely tried.
And Danny looked at it and was still able to do it. But going into our next race, I think we got Tag Cadet. We're going to have Mike Gilio get a microphone and hop on the live stream with us.
Once again, welcome out to, thank you for joining us here at the Winter Shootout Series at the Atlanta Motorsports Park in beautiful, sunny Dawsonville, Georgia here today. Mid-40 temperatures, cool track, makes for a slick track for these competitors out here trying to get heat in these tires. A stark difference from what we've seen yesterday with humid temperatures in the mid-60s, falling into the 50s now. But a beautiful day here, and we got a guest joining us on the mic now.
Yeah, Mike Gilio, one of our ambassadors here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. His son, Luke Gilio, isn't racing with us, getting ready for Super Nats, right, Mike?
Yeah, that's correct. Head out on Tuesday to Vegas.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you're obviously an expert with this class, so me and Blake here may hop on your lead and let you kind of roll with it, and maybe you tell us what that we should be seeing with the track temperatures and anything that you see could be a fun thing to watch for.
Yeah, I mean, on days like today, obviously with it being cooler to begin with, right, I'm sure this morning, everybody was kind of trying to juggle the looser conditions. Obviously things are really cold, but then the thing you got to be careful with is as the day gets warmer and rubber gets laid down on the track, just kind of managing, grip potentially coming in and seeing potentially different track conditions, not only with the changing weather, but also the fact that you actually have a longer race and tires are going to get warmer than they've been at any other point during the day. So it'll be interesting to see how these young kids, navigate those conditions today, and we'll see how things go.
And what is something that you look at to change especially in that pre-final? We're at 41 degrees, the track's freezing. What's the things you look at on a kart to be able to adjust to get grip?
Well, so grip is always an interesting conversation, right? Whether it's cold or whether it's hot, right? You don't want a loose cart, you don't want a tight cart, right? You want a free cart. And what we mean by free is where the cart has control, but the cart is free enough so that when it's coming in and out of corners, the cart's not getting bound up and it's free, and therefore you're getting the right run off the corners, therefore get the straightaway speeds that you're looking for, right? So if a cart is too loose, you're going to be loose in a corner, and therefore as you exit the corner, you're going to be kind of trying to get the cart back under control, and that could impact you at the end of the straightaway. If the cart is too gripped, right, it's going to bind in the corner, and it's going to kind of cause the same effect, right? So what you're really looking for is that balance of, enough grip to where you have control, but free to where the cart is free through the corner, and therefore getting the roll speed out of the corner, and therefore giving you the straightaway speed that you're looking for.
And how do you make those adjustments through the day? Is that, obviously our track temperature's 20 degrees difference than where we were at this morning. So is that something that when you're going into the race that you're looking at is you're going to head for the final setup, or are you just going as the day goes on and doing adjustments throughout the day?
Yeah, I mean, so in a perfect world, you're trying to make as few adjustments as possible, right? We all have kind of what we call a baseline setup. You want to be focusing more on the driver and what's going on during the course of a race, obviously kind of making those improvements and kind of monitoring your driver and those things along the day. But you are going to make some tweaks. The biggest thing you're going to most likely look at is tire pressure, right? The lower the pressure, the later the tires are going to come in. The higher the pressure, the earlier they're going to come in. But you want to balance to make sure that they don't fall off too early, or they don't, right? So if they come in real early, they could fall off towards the end, so you'll be fast early and you'll fall off at the end of the race, or vice versa, right? So tire pressure is always one of those things. But on really cold days, you're going to look at front grip and rear grip, right? You could be looking at caster camber settings in the front to add more grip. You could be looking at the rear. It could be potentially changing axles. It could be moving your hubs in and out. Hubs in is going to make the car a little bit tighter. Hubs out is going to make the car a little looser. So it's kind of trying to find that balance. But you always want to try to stay somewhere close to that kind of baseline setup and make minor adjustments. And then once you get there, then usually tire pressure is the thing that you're probably monitoring the most as the day goes on.
Right. And so whenever you're talking about tire pressure, where are they at? We at like 16 pounds of tire pressure? What are you seeing out there coming? You don't have a racer in the fight, so.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, and so again, my perspective is going to be cadet, right? 'Cause
right.
My son being 8 years old, we're kind of still at the cadet level, so I haven't dealt too much with the full size. But I would say you're going to be just in general, not necessarily today. You could be anywhere from 12 to 16, 12 to 18 pounds. So on a warmer day, you might be closer to the 12 range. On a colder day, you might be up in that 16, 18 pounds, just because the track's not building a lot of heat, so you're giving it a few extra pounds of air so that so not only does it come in sooner, but that you're actually getting the tires up to temperature to where the kart has the right level of control.
Right. So obviously a lot different temperature conditions than what we're going to be seeing at a Vegas next week. I was looking at the forecast today, and it looks like 0% chance of rain. In morning times, we're mid-40s. Evening times, we're in the 60s. So couldn't ask for much better weather for what you're about to get to see, and I'm luckily going to get to see and show some support. So how are y'all feeling going into that race?
Yeah, we're feeling great. I mean, this will be our second year going. With Luke being 8, he's still on the younger side of a lot of the competitors that we're seeing kind of towards the front, although we have consistently finished in the top 10 throughout the Pro Tour this year. So, we're looking forward to it. I mean, we're excited about it. It is definitely, a really fun event to go to. Our class has got 45 of the best drivers. Half the field is coming from out of the country. So we've got kind of the best and brightest from the U.S., and then we've got faces that we haven't really seen coming in from different parts of the world, right? So we're really excited about it. It's 5 days of racing, starts on Wednesday, ends on Sunday. So it's, a lot of seat time. So, it's not even necessarily just about kind of having the right equipment, but it's also endurance, right? When you have an 8-year-old, in my case, that's, racing for 5 straight days with, the last couple of days, being where it counts, that endurance and getting enough sleep and having the right diet in conjunction with obviously having the right kart and having to doing the things you need to do on track. So it's grueling, but that's why it's the event that it is, right? It's kind of like the Super Bowl of karting, and, we're excited about it.
So watching Luke last year, me as a spectator saw a huge growth spurt from him, it seemed like, right after Vegas. So for these young drivers trying to develop their kids, how valuable is sending a young driver that has a decent amount of experience, maybe wanting to take that leap to a place like that to see the experience on that kind of level? What would you say the value level would be on something like that?
Yeah, and so it's always a balance, right? So we talk seat time a lot. So when there's a lot of different options when it comes to racing, right? You have local club racing, you have regional level racing, and then you have kind of the national series like US Pro Karting Series, Super Karts, etc., and then Super Nationals being kind of the Super Bowl of the Pro Tour. And so you kind of want to balance making sure that, yes, you will benefit from going to those events because you're going to see a different level of competition. Unlike at a club day where you come in and you race one day, you might get 3-4 days of racing. And so you can get the equivalent of 4 club days in one race weekend, right? But you also want to make sure that your driver has the fundamentals, some of the foundational skills as far as being able to keep and maintain a certain, lap time, that they're comfortable driving and they can stay with the field to some degree, because if they don't, you could find yourself in a situation where they're falling off too much to where they actually get removed from the track, right? So getting kind of the basics in place, and then maybe starting at a regional, then starting to go to the pro level, where you're in there, you're in the race, and then it's kind of like you're looking to be fast, and then once you're fast, then you're looking to be in the field, and then that's where the racecraft and teaching 8-9-year-old kids how to, hey, when do you pass, when don't you pass, when do you draft, when don't you draft, right? These events, it's like there's only so much you can teach, right?
Right.
So when you go to these events and these kids get into those situations, we come off the track and we said, all right, hey, you made a mistake. How do we prevent that mistake from happening the next time, right? So it's that kind of stuff. But it's a balance. And there's no doubt going to those events is a huge learning experience, as long as you can actually have the speed and the car control to actually be up in the field where you're actually gaining the race experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Is the class that Luke's going to be in this year going to have an LCQ, last chance qualifying?
No, so they certain classes, and sometimes SCUSA will base it on which classes fill first. So they'll say, hey, the first 3 classes that fill first will have an LCQ. Our class doesn't have an LCQ, so we have 45 drivers, and everybody will make the feature, and it's just a matter of where you're starting in the field. So,
Gotcha. Well, we got our tag rookies and tag cadets coming up on track now. What's a little different between these two classes? Is it power? Is it motors? What are we talking about is the difference between, obviously we're going to get a false start there, but what's a little bit of the difference between these two classes right here?
yeah, so what you have here is the IME Swift class, right? Or here we call it tag, so you could potentially have somebody running, let's say, a rock motor, but I think most of the kids that are out here today are running the IME Swift motor, and the difference between the cadet, if we stick with the IME motor, versus the rookie is the restricted header. So it's a 60cc motor. It's designed for the mini, so the normal header would be what we call the mini header, and then what we call tag rookie, or the micro Swift, has a restricted header, and so it's going to tend to be a little bit slower. But depending on the skill level of the drivers, you could see some of the cadets running with, beating, or behind. So same motor, just different header that kind of restricts the speed.
Okay. So interesting. How much is that speed restricted? Because watching this race earlier, me and Blake, we had a couple rookies beating quite a few of the cadets. So what is the difference speed-wise? Is there that much, or is it pretty neck and neck?
Well, so it kind of depends, right? I mean, obviously I've been running here for about 3 years now, and back when we were running in rookie, we would compete, in some cases beat the cadets, right? So it's one other thing to kind of point out is that the cadet does actually have more weight. So the cadet's going to weigh in at 245, and the rookie's going to weigh in at 225. So sometimes you see the restricted header kind of balance out with the weight difference. So
okay,
if
that
you
makes
have
more sense.
So if you have a decent driver running in a rookie class, they're 20 pounds lighter. Even though they're running a restricted motor, they have less weight. And if they're a good driver, then they could be competitive or more competitive than maybe somebody at a cadet level.
Gotcha. Well, we're coming around here good. Look a little bit better. Got a green flag finally, so we get to see some racing. Looks like Talon got a good start, but Gabriel held the inside. One spun.
Yeah, we've got one off the course there at the start. We'll see who that is here in just a moment. Battle once again for the lead. The 48 machine, Talon Laney over Gabriel Vardo Lopez.
Yeah, it looks like 2 of our more competitive rookie drivers are in the back there. I don't know if they had to start in the back or if something started, but it looks like you have Kalen and Isaac right there at the tail end of that train. So it'll be interesting to see them work their way back up the field.
Yep, I believe they did do a split start, so you did have the rookies behind the cadets on the start, and I think Callan, I saw there, get a little tangled up with that driver that did spin out.
Your leader once again, Gabriel Lopez Velarde, second. Talon Lenny, third place. Adam Durst, a side-by-side battle there coming to the start-finish.
He took that spot, and Gabriel going purple there, and Talon and Gabriel had a good run for the first 4 laps, and then Gabriel, it seemed like he took that back, and then there you go, the over-under. Talon just takes it right back. Looks like Callan could be setting up a move heading into 6 here. He's got some more power on the straights, it seems like we've been looking at all day. And yeah, he's closing that gap, should shoot inside, hit him in it. Up, he holds on.
I'm going to follow through in his tire tracks. All cars following through there. All this happening behind your leader, Gabriel Lopez Velarde.
Yeah, other than Gabriel, it looks like everybody's pretty bound up there, so should be a pretty good race.
Yeah, pretty evenly matched there from second on back. Everyone throw a blanket over those cars heading into turns number 16 and 17.
And Mike, as a racer, is with what we're seeing with Gabriel taking out that big lead in earlier, Talon was just neck and neck with him. Is it because the battle behind is just giving more opportunity for Gabriel to get that gap bigger and bigger?
Yeah, and this is where qualifying and track position matters, right? So if you have somebody like Gabriel who obviously has, good kart control, he's running really good, and he gets out front, and then if all the folks start racing behind him, then obviously that's going to slow those folks down and let the leader kind of move his way out. And so what you'll see, especially as these kids get more and more experience and they start learning that race control, sometimes you have to make these decisions of, hey, when do I start racing versus when do I just stay because 2 is faster than 1.
Yeah.
So if you have a couple of kids that are actually drafting and working together, then they're going to be faster than if they sit there and race or if they're racing on their own. So let's say you're running second and third, and you got, in this case, Gabriel, who's 10, 15, whatever number of kart lengths out. You have to sit there and say, do I sit here and race for second, or do we work together to try to close the gap with the person that's up in front, right? And then as you get towards the end of the race, then it's kind of time to just start racing regardless of where you are. Some of these kids probably aren't there yet in terms of thinking that way, but, those are a lot of the things that we've been working on, over the last couple of years, once we kind of got those basics down.
And that's what me and Blake were talking about earlier is that you work together, you're going to be able to close a gap like you've never seen before. And with these mini Swifts, is it the same way to where drafting really matters that much?
Absolutely. Yeah, especially in the 4-stroke class, because there's such
wow. Talon and Adam Durst looks like they got some.
Yeah, it looks like Adam cleared it, but.
Yeah, we'll have to look at a replay there and see what all happened on that clip. We'll probably see that at the end of the race, but we still got a race going, and looks like we got 2 drivers out that were competitive for the top 3 podium over here. Here's the replay. So Adam out wide, Talon takes the inside, coming in here. Yep, just those wheels intertwined. That's nothing but a racing incident in my opinion.
Yeah, it just looked like, Adam really just didn't have anywhere to go. He had to curve. He didn't turn. Doesn't look like he turned into Talon, but unfortunately just really ran out of track room, and unfortunate there for Talon.
Yeah, for sure. So quite a bit of is that just the exhaust mic, you think, or is we getting a little extra smoke from the wreck?
Yeah, I don't think it's from the wreck. It could just be from the exhaust, or if somebody was stuck and spinning the motor. Sometimes these kids, they just sit there and they'll spin on the gas and potentially start burning the clutch up, and so you'll get some clutch smoke there. So
looks like you got going.
It's kind of hard to tell here.
Now it's a 20 car Ruben Greer getting back on track.
And Callan taking that spot back, and I think that puts him in the lead for that rookie class.
Yeah, it looks like right now, if you kind of separate the two, you got Gabriel running out front in the cadet class. And then it looks like Adam Durst would be in second for that. And then your top 3 for the micro class or the rookie class would be Kalen, then Ryan Perez, and then Isaac Carvello, which is pretty much what we're seeing on the screen right now. You got Kalen, then Adam Durst, and Ryan right behind them. And then not too far off there is Isaac Carvello.
Mike, we talked about this earlier, Lucas and I. When you're out there, as a kid, you have the mindset of, who am I racing, or am I just trying to beat everybody that's in front of me?
Yeah, and it's hard to speak for each kid, right? I think some of these kids, they're just racing the kids in front of them, whereas some are a little bit more aware of who they're racing and, kind of trying to monitor that on the track. So, but sometimes it can be hard.
And Callan really starting to put some track time down, 1 minute flat right there, and he is about 2 seconds faster than his competition right now per lap. Gabriel putting down a 59.2. That's a pretty good time, right, Mike, in these conditions?
Yeah, I would say, 59.2 probably for these track conditions today is definitely very competitive. I think the fastest times I think I've seen from the couple of years I've been running here, I think for the cadet class, I think somewhere in that low 57s, and then on a really good day for the rookie class, somewhere in the right around 58 flat, low 58s. So I would anticipate or expect that in a day like this, the track's probably off at least a half a second, if not a second, from kind of our normal conditions.
For sure, for sure. So we're halfway through, and it looks like Talon ended up getting back on track. I think he probably has a little bit of damage because he's running 102s now compared to the leader. He's 2 seconds off pace, so may have an alignment issue, but surprised, honestly, that he was able to get going again with that 360 into a wall.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive, though, watching this class grow throughout the year. If I think back a couple of years ago, this class, we have obviously Luke and Bowen Green and Kai Mars, who obviously are a couple of Luke's good friends that we all race together. Bowen will obviously be going out to Vegas with us. Unfortunately, Kai's not making it out there with us this year, but all three of us were actually out of GoPro this past weekend. But just looking at this class, a lot of these kids, we didn't even know who they were a year ago.
Yeah, and I think
not only are they here consistently, but, running much more competitive. Obviously, Gabriel's come a long way. He's running really good, moved up from rookie towards the end of the year and running extremely competitive lap times, working really hard. I know his dad's pretty committed to helping him out there. Kalen obviously has come a long way, and as you can see, kind of leading the rookie class. And then some of the names, we've known, Ryan, Isaac, etc. So it's a growing field and becoming a much more competitive field, and it's nice to see it go, it happen here. So
how do you think that happens? Obviously, y'all have been a big stamp of what we started here with these young drivers, but how do you continue to build off of the success of building these younger classes?
Well, so as far as like a track or these kids kind of progressing?
Yeah, getting more kids into the racing program.
Yeah, and I think all the things that we're doing here, right? One, it starts with we have a good group of kids that's here, right? So as people come out and get exposure to the track and they see the number of kids and they get to know those kids, right? They want to be part of that, and it's fun. Like, it's like Luke. If I bring him out to the track and no one's here, he doesn't want to drive. It's one thing to drive around a track. When you've never driven a car and you're a kid, you'll drive no matter what. But then as you start racing more and more, you kind of don't even want to get in a car unless you got kids that, not only kids out on the track, but kids that you can actually go out and be somewhat competitive with. And so I think the things that AMP's been doing to draw exposure to the track, these live broadcasts, I think are great. And then as we get more and more kids, it's going to bring a bigger field, more excitement, and that kind of draws more kids, in my opinion.
So I think we're nailing it right now, especially with the broadcasting. I think the Junior Discovery program that we launched last year has been a big help on getting new drivers in it, just get their feet wet. But I think you've helped out with quite a few of those events, and maybe you can speak on what that kind of program is and go from there.
Yeah, so it's interesting because a lot of people don't even think to race go-karts, right? So as I've mentioned a couple of times, most of us kind of start out thinking we got to do the ball sports. We put our kids in the normal sports, which I've done. Luke's done football and baseball and basketball. And I actually kind of got introduced to karting because I was trying to find something for my daughter. And Luke at the time, I think, was only 4, so I wasn't even thinking it was something that he can do. And then fast forward, obviously a couple of years, my daughter doesn't do it and Luke does. And and so the first thing is just getting people to recognize karting as an option, right? And those of us that are in a sport kind of send that message and talk to people about it. And then having something like Junior Discovery where people can come and have an opportunity to get into a kart and drive a car and learn the basics about it, and then then one thing leads to the other, right? And so I think having those programs, gives not every track's got that opportunity, right? Not every track's got, oh, show up and, hey, we'll do something like Junior Discovery. So I think that's a great option and gives people kind of that initial exposure to what karting is and give kids an opportunity to race those cars or drive those karts. And the ones that I've been part of, it seems like every kid comes off with a big smile, right? Because it's a lot of fun.
For sure, for sure. So if you haven't gotten any Christmas presents yet, look at getting one of your kids in those Junior Discovery programs. It's a 2-hour class, and you get a lot of good coaching opportunities to get your kid in a race chassis. But we're going to tune back into the race here. It looks like we got about 3 to go, or 4 to go, actually. 3 to go now that Gabriel just passed in. And Callan and Gabriel really starting to put some times down and gapping those people behind them.
Yeah, those top 2 karts there. Gabriel with a commanding lead over Callan, but still turning some fast lap times here as we go throughout this event for our tag rookie and tag cadet class.
Yeah, and I can't see that. What times is Gabriel running right now?
59.2 was his last one. A 58.8 is his best in lap 9. And Callan is running a 1 minute flat.
Yeah, so you're roughly about 1 second difference there between the cadet and the rookie, which you would kind of anticipate. As a benchmark, we usually, if you have a competitive rookie and a competitive cadet, they should probably be somewhere around a second apart, 0.8 of a second to a second.
What's the age gap between these two?
So the typical age for like a cadet or what we call a micro Swift is usually going to be somewhere in like that 7 to 9 range, although some kids will run a little bit older. Some kids get into the sport later, right? So you'll see kids anywhere from like 7 to 10 in cadet, and then in mini Swift, you'll see kids probably anywhere from 8 to 11, 8 to 12. Just kind of depending on when they start, kind of how competitive they are, what series they're running, and so on and so forth.
So Luke's 8, right? So are you you're running micro in the national level? You said. Are you thinking about moving him up next year to mini?
No, so we've had plans to run the micro Swift nationally all of next year. So a lot of what we've been doing this year has really just been prepping for hopefully what will be a real successful national program next year. He'll turn 9 next year, and so that'll be it will be our last year running micro Swift, but we'll run the full national series in micro next year. And like I said, this year has been a building season for us, just kind of getting to the point where we can do that.
Awesome.
White flag in the air for Gabriel Lopez Velarde, your leader.
And going back to our conversation earlier, too, about progressing, you look at somebody like Gabriel, he's obviously driving really well. He's got good kart control, Kalen and others. And so as you start thinking about, hey, as I start going to these regional, national races, now you have a driver that has the ability to drive, and you can now start getting into those more competitive fields and kind of learning kind of some of those more national level programs. So
for sure. And he's on DCT Racing, and like Spencer Mass we were talking about with KA100, Leo Oliveira over there does a great job with teaching these kids. And it goes to show whenever these kids are really putting in the effort, how far they can come, because I've seen this Gabriel kid right here come a long way. And even with Callan's still super new, and he's gained 13 seconds off of where he started since he started. I mean, and he's coming in first back-to-back days so far in our winter series. So you put it in the effort. I see him here all the time. You're going to get the results, in my opinion, Mike.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean it's not any individual thing, right? Obviously, you got to have a competitive go-kart, right? So you have to have the right equipment. You have to have a driver that is obviously motivated and willing to put the time in. I mean, using Gabriel as an example, I mean, it seems like every time I come here, he's up here driving, and I'm seeing Kalen more and more, right? So it's having a driver that's motivated and it's willing to come in and get the seat time and take the time to look at what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, correct those things, having the right equipment, and, you start putting all those things together, then you start creating a really competitive driver.
For sure, for sure. Well, it looks like our last one, Ruben Guerrier, just got his checkered flag. What race do we got next? KA100.
And KA100 be our next class. our penultimate final of the afternoon. Your winner once again on that last group, Gabriel Lopez Velarde, heading into our KA100 Junior and Senior this time.
Real quick, we would just want to say thank you, Mike, for joining the cast, and look forward to rooting Luke Giglio on in the Super Nationals next week. We are about to head to our KA100 race in just a second. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back at you with some more entertaining racing for the day.
Welcome back live to the Atlanta Motorsports Park for the Winter Shootout Series. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you all the coverage here this afternoon, getting ready headed to our penultimate final race of the day, the KA100 Junior and Senior Series, getting them lined up. Be looking for a green flag start. Hopefully this time by, we are so glad you joined us here on a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon in Dawsonville, Georgia. You know, those cars going through 16 and 17 here, getting some heat in the tires. We're looking for the green flag this time by for the 15-lap final for our KA100 Junior and Senior class. Getting those cars lined up 2 by 2. Be looking for the green flag hopefully this time by. Taking a look at our start-finish line. Looks like a good start as they roll down. Green flag is out. We are off to racing in the KA100 division.
Here we go. Spencer Mass off to a quick jump right there. Took the lead, got Siminoff cutting in, getting a P2.
Got a couple of Seminovs in this race, Lucas. It's going to be interesting to see Theodore and Martin.
Yeah, they're in line together, and like we were talking about earlier, it's always best to separate those brothers, but it's hard to do that.
Spencer Master, leader in car number 41, working his way through the S's in that purple and pink Kart. Got the 100 junior and seniors in this race. Looks like 7 seniors and 1 junior. It'd be Andrew Hamill in the 905, our only junior participant.
It looked like Siminoff was going to go off on that inside right there. With his fastest lap of the day. He just went purple, but he got a little loose on that back end, and Spencer closed the door on him.
Spencer Mast, your leader in car number 41. Theodore Simonov in second, car number 33. It's Martin Simonov in third in the 26th. Simonov taking a look to the inside. That time gets a little squirrely. Looks like he's still going to make the pass. Down through the S's.
Yeah, he tucked it in, and he almost made a major mistake there, and he was able to get it back together, but he almost lost it for a second. Spencer Mast coming back again. Like I said earlier, I mean, watching Spencer, you'll see he will pass on every part of this track. There is nothing that he doesn't feel comfortable with. He feels like he has this track mastered, and you'll see some of the most artsy passes that AMP has to offer from this guy. But Kart 33's got something for him this race. He's holding on, and there you go, Spencer, inside, just like that. That was such a late pass point too. I mean, you just never know with this kid.
That's right. Battle once again for the lead. Nose to tail heading into turns 16 and 17. Going to take a look to the inside once again.
Off right back. I mean, they're just battling back and forth. Spencer right back.
Cross back over.
Yep. So
Mass to lead that lap.
It's given Sam the opportunity to get back up to where they had a decent lead. Sam split up the brothers, so that's good for him because he's in a better spot. But I don't know how long you want to stay in a sandwich between them either. You just want to get out in front of them, I think. But Sam going on the outside. The younger brother coming on the inside of Sam. A little too early. Spencer holding on to his lead.
5-car breakaway up front. We'll call it 4. Fifth place car trying to make his way up there. Now it's 3, nose to tail.
And if you're Spencer, you just want third and second to start battling a little bit so that he can get a little bit of a gap. I think race director's already making the call to watch out for some reckless driving. There you go. That's definitely probably going to be a penalty on a little bit of a punt there coming out of one on one of the Simonovs.
Hearing those cars go directly underneath us through turn number 4 now. Putting on a show for us thus far, your leader, Spencer Mast, in car number 41.
So the fastest lap is actually our 5th place person.
Yeah, Brant Estes setting a time of 53.94.
He's getting the opportunity he got kind of stuck up a little bit in the start, and he had quite a big gap, but now he's back up in that top 5, so he's got a fast card, obviously, if he's getting the purple on his name. See if he can't do something with it.
Start-finish line, Spencer Mast, a 2/10 of a second lead over Theodore Simonov in second. Theodore would like a little bit more room to try to make a pass on Spencer, but he really doesn't with that third-place car right there behind him as well. No room for mistakes on any of these cards.
Yeah, it seems like the only spot he has something for Spencer is in 9 and in 6 right there, as we just saw. Spencer's pretty much got the rest of the track locked down. So look at Simonov to only make his moves there. Because Spencer's locked in on the rest of the track. He's got a little bit of something that he's got to tweak probably to maintain that. And watch, you're going to see the brothers push together. And you got a lot of bumping. This race director's got to keep a close eye on this because it's starting to get a little aggressive from what I'm seeing.
Brant Estes, he's trying to join the party still, had the fastest lap just a couple laps ago. Actually, that lap fastest once again at 53.70 for your 5th place card. He's right there in line.
Let's see if the brothers start trying to mix it up or if they start working together. Spencer, there you go. He's got just enough. And, man, Simonov gets – I don't know if he got bumped and out or if he just lost it a little bit and overbroke.
Couldn't really tell from that angle, but he did. And more contact there.
And Sam is getting really close to the other Simonov, which now you got those brothers separated a little bit, and it's kind of every man for himself right now. So we'll see what happens. Spencer Mast is starting to get a little bit of a gap, which is exactly what he's wanting. He's wanting those guys behind him to keep battling so that he can just keep going and going and going, not have to be part of the battle.
Hear those cars going directly underneath us here in turn number 4, heading into 5 and 6 now.
Yeah, look at Spencer Mast right there, just pulling 2 cart links coming out of the kink. That was really impressive right there. I don't know if he just got a good run coming out of 4 or the other guys are just battling some, but a great race so far, and we still got 8 laps to go.
Quite a race we've got here once again. Those top 4 carts all on top of each other, being led by Spencer Mast in car number 41. Working their way through 16 and 17, coming to that start-finish line now. We'll show them halfway this time by.
And Theodore Semenoff starting to lose that draft a little bit, so he's got to figure a way to get it bunched back up. And Martin Semenoff is getting closer to Spencer Mast again, so they're starting to bunch back up again. It's going to make things entertaining again.
And don't forget about Brent Estes back there in 4th, still turning some fast lap times. As that 2nd and 3rd place car continue to battle, he could be there in the catbird seat waiting to see what happens in front of him.
See if Sam has something for him in 9. He's been getting good runs coming out of 8, but he had to break a little bit coming out of 8 because he started his run a little too early. Semenoff right on Spencer Mast's tail again. Spencer's got it going on coming down turn 2 because he gets about a 2 cart length gap every time. But Semenoff is able to close that gap in other areas of the track. So we'll see if Spencer can hold him off in 9 and 6, because that seems to where Semenoff has the best chance to pass Mast. But Mast is holding on.
As you see on the screen there, your top 5 carts battling up front. You see the back corner there, the last 3 carts as well. Battles going on all over the track here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park here this afternoon.
And Sam had that inside line. You're going to win that every time. And coming into turn 1, Spencer's just saying, guys, keep battling. Keep battling.
Letting him skate farther and farther away up front as that battle continues for 2nd and 3rd, and the gap between 1st and 2nd continues to grow.
And it looks like Estes has jumped to P4 now. Was he already at P4?
Yeah, he was in P4 after Semenoff still running in 5th after going off track just a little bit earlier. Like I said, he's watching. There's a very fast go-kart that he has. Waiting to see what happens in front of him. Those 2nd, 3rd place carts continue to battle. Heading in through David's Bend now, coming out high, wide, and handsome, all 5 carts. Be crossing the line here with just 4 laps to go.
That was a good lap right there by Spencer Mast. That was his best of the day. Getting really close to Estes' time there. But he's starting to be able to widen the gap a little bit because those guys are just, they keep touching each other. When you're touching each other, you're rubbing off speed, and you may see something from Estes right here.
Trying to set up that 3rd place car.
Spencer Mast just calm, cool, and collective. Great mindset on him right now. He's hard to get off focus, and when the guys are behind you battling, you can keep that focus. It's whenever they get caught back up to you, you start seeing different things other than your race line. And it looks like Martin Semenoff just went purple, so he just had the fastest lap of the day right there.
And it's showing as he's closing in on that 2nd place car of Machado. Top 5 cars all there on the screen for the Winter Shootout Series for our tag, KA100 Senior and Junior.
Saw a little bit of white smoke coming from the tire of Sam's kart, so he late braked a little bit too hard. Sometimes that can wear a little flat spot in that tire, and it really messes with the alignment of things. So see if that little bit of a slide affects him in any way. So far, it looks like it's maybe helped him.
Yeah, looking to the inside now, crossing the start-finish line. He gets back in line, nose to tail, hitting into turn number 1.
And a great move right there from Spencer, shutting that door going into turn 1, because Sam had a little bit of a run, but Spencer just closes the door on people's faces sometimes, and it's hard to get by this kid. Sam making a move inside, so he's going to have him on this, but watch, he's going to try to take it back under, but that's the problem. Spencer could have taken him back under, but Siminoff followed the inside trail, and he couldn't take the inside because there was another cart there this time.
Oh, and a little bit out of shape for Siminoff
right there. And Estes taking advantage of it. He's going to hop into third. And the brothers are back together. Nope, split back up.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for these drivers.
See if Spencer can make a move here. Coming up the hill, Sam and Spencer, it looks like it's a race between them right now. Spencer just right on that tail. You'll see some sort of move coming up here soon from him. Again, Sam, a little white smoke with that tire smoke. He's braking, that means he's braking hard. Coming up through 6, going up towards 8. Spencer probably going to wait until the last corner here. He's right on his tail, so he has a really good run. He's sticking outside, so he's going to cut inside, and he's going to cut him inside right here.
No.
Sam Machado is going to hold on. Spencer Mass, P2, great race. Martin Siminoff, Brant Estes, Theodore Siminoff, Andrew Himmel, Banu is the way we place. What a race.
What a race, Lucas, between some evenly matched cars there. No real runaway there on any of those races, so some evenly matched carts there in our KE 100 Senior and Junior Series.
Yeah, we'll have to see if any penalties get issued. I saw some contact with Sam Machado. I saw some contact with the Siminoffs. So we'll have to see what the race director decides and see if there's any penalties on that race that affects our top 3 finish.
This afternoon has just flown by, Lucas. We're heading into our final race of the day. It's going to be our Shifter Card Series, our fastest series here at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. We'll see if Daniel Perez can hold on to his commanding lead that he's had so far this weekend in this division. And once again, we appreciate you tuning in to us here for the Winter Shootout Series live from Atlanta Motorsports Park. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you all the coverage here from the North Georgia mountains.
For sure. I'm hearing race control talking to the race director in the background, and he's saying we need to talk. There was some contact in that race, and we're about to have a replay. Let's see if we see anything. Siminoff pushing Sam off right there. It's kind of hard to see that decision to be made. Yeah, race control already talking to the race director to see if there's some changes. We'll have to wait to find out on that one, Blake.
And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back for our final of the afternoon live from Atlanta Motorsports Park in just a moment. Welcome back to Atlanta Motorsports Park, the Winter Shootout Series. I'm Blake Smith alongside Lucas Arnett, bringing you our final race of the afternoon. It's our shifter kart series, the fastest division we have here of the afternoon, Lucas.
Yep, for sure. You'll see them lean back right there, and they'll do a quick little burnout to try to get those tires warm. They'll come up, and this is the only standing start of the day, it's fun to watch this this start. They'll hold up their hand. That means they have a high rev, and after that, it looks like our leader, Danny Perez, having issues. It'll be interesting to see what the race director calls here. Daniel Perez, it may be a day for him, and that's just disappointing to see after the dominant run. What's going on? I don't know if he's having a mechanical issue, if he lost a tire, what's happening, but he's pulled off, and we'll see if they try to get him going. He's unstrapping and he's rolling off track. That's just
it looks like he's done for the day.
That's tough for him, you know.
Tough for him, but the other competitors are probably glad to see it.
Without a doubt. I mean, he was pretty close to lapping the whole field, and yeah, feel bad for him, but again, Blake, that's just part of racing.
Dominant performance by Daniel both yesterday in the pre-final and final, and in today's pre-final. We'll hear it could be an issue with the wheel from race control. He will not be joining us here for this final. Getting the cars lined up here. It will be not a rolling start. It's going to be a start from stop here.
And it does look like his mechanic is running over there, and we got a corner marshal heading over there, so maybe Danny's going to try to get going again. I don't know if they're going to allow him to. We'll just have to see. But once the green flag is thrown, they will not have an opportunity to get back on track. But until then, usually they would have that opportunity to stay on track. With another stall, it looks like maybe Perez could get back on track. We'll just have to see what happens.
And if you're joining us here this afternoon and think, man, I'd like to go out there and turn some laps one day, well, absolutely you can. We have our arrive and drive carts here. Lucas, and it happens throughout the week in the afternoons, and of course not today. It's a race day. But you'll have the chance to come out here and turn some 55-mile-an-hour laps in a go-kart with you and your friends going out here to AtlantaMotorsportsPark.com and AmpKartRacing.com.
Yep, and green flags thrown, so the races began. I don't know if Danny Perez got out there or not. I know they said they had the kart good again.
Does not look like he did.
It doesn't. It's an awkward start right there because you had somebody who stalled out, and whenever they stall out, if they're in P1, they have to go to the back of the field no matter what. That would be the driver's fault. Danny Perez would have the opportunity to get on track up until the first lap is complete, and after that, he would be done. So I don't think he was able to get back on track, so we got a race of 3, and our pole sitter ended up missing the race.
Unfortunate for Daniel Perez, a dominating race performance so far today. That gives a chance for Robbie Campbell, your leader in the 412 right now, followed by Oz Cheek and Tyler Witt.
Yeah, Oz off to a great start. Got a great start off of the beginning run off there. That standing start sometimes is extremely hard to do because you're high revving, and you can only high rev for so long in these shifter karts. So they got to drop that green flag extremely fast.
Rolling through the S's here, all pretty evenly spaced with your top 3 karts here. Your leader of the 412, that is Robbie Campbell.
Yep, Robbie coming through. He was purple the first lap. You should see him purple again with it being the second one. Yep, purple again. 3-second difference from that second lap from the first.
Oz Cheek actually quicker that time on his 50.14 lap.
Went purple. It's always a good sign when you're purple.
These karts just drift through the corners, Lucas. It's like they don't even turn, just slide through there.
Yeah, they slide through there, and it's hard to keep them straight because those back wheels have so much torque on them that they just are wanting to move at all times, and going through turns they don't just grip up and grab, and they grip up and grab after the turn. So it's a lot of drifting in this that you see sometimes, and sometimes that hurts you when you're sliding and you're not running it down. It loses some time, but they're purple again, so they're still running really good times.
Oz Cheek gaining on your leader that time. It was a difference of 1.19 seconds, 49.66 compared to the 49.83 for Campbell up front.
Yeah. It'll be interesting in the championship series. I don't know if they decided to allow one drop or no drop, but this DNF for Danny Perez could really affect the championship standings. Obviously, he dominated in round 1, but round 2 not getting a finish, and Oz or Robbie were P2 and P3 yesterday, so we'll just have to see on championship standings where they stand after this.
That time, Campbell quicker by about 1/10 of a second over Oz Cheek in second that time by.
Yeah, 49-second lap times. It's just astonishing. I mean, almost a mile-long track, 0.7 miles and some change, and they're going around that in less than a minute. You're scooting and booting, aren't you, Blake?
Absolutely flying around here, drifting through these corners. Each and every 17 of them as they make their way through turns 16 and 17 now. Be looking to the start-finish line to complete another lap. We'll have 10 laps to go for our shifter kart series. A difference of 1.7 seconds between your top two. Tyler Witt all the way back, almost 7 seconds back from your leader as he watches from third. Again, if you're just now joining us and wanting to see where Daniel Perez is, Daniel was not able to make the field due to a mechanical issue at the start of the race. He was not able to take the green, so he will be credited with a 4th place DNF finish.
So everybody's just kind of cooling it right now, and you got a little bit of an opportunity for 2 if he can gain some ground. But 3rd place seems to be pretty far back.
Yeah, it's going to be about those top 2. I do believe, Lucas, as you see them make their way through the turns. Their separation of 1.7 seconds on the last time in scoring loop. Again, your leader on screen, that is Robbie Campbell on the 412 machine. Oz Cheek seeing what he can do as he runs in second. They're coming out of 16 and 17 now. You see the separation there according to the stopwatch. It's going to be a difference of about 1.6. So Oz Cheek turns purple there. He gained about 1/10 of a second that lap.
Yeah, Oz just put a good lap time down, and if he can just keep doing that, it's inches matter in these kind of races. So if he could just keep 1/10 of a second, he'll be there by the final lap. And Robbie got a little loose right there, so again, Oz should have another opportunity to get a little bit closer. Already coming up to our halfway.
This race flying by blistering lap times, 49-second range around this 0.8-mile course.
And Robbie goes, even with that little mistake, he goes purple. So they just keep flip-flopping purples back and forth. That's not a good sign for Oz.
Well, they do that time. It was Campbell adding 0.2 of a second to his lead. A 1.9-second gap between your first and second place car. Sounds like a third-place car of Tyler Whitmay had an interesting turn 4 there by the way it sounded underneath
I think
us.
he shifted the wrong gear and had to back shift there from what it sounded like. He definitely had a little bit of an issue down there in turn 4. And the leader just coming across the line.
2.12 seconds, so Robbie Campbell continuing to extend his lead over Oz Cheek in second. Car on the screen, once again, your leader, that is Robbie Campbell in the 412 machine, making his way around the track. Heading into turns 16 and 17, he'll get on the brake there, slide through those corners. High, wide, and handsome, and at turn number 17, heading toward the start-finish line, and he will see 5 laps to go, heading to his feature win. 2.347 second gap over Oz Cheek that time.
So putting about 2.2 tenths on Oz behind him, so
Oz still not giving up, though, turning some fast laps, just not quite as quick as Robbie up front.
no, but it's a shifter, so you miss one shift, and that person behind you is right back there in your sights again. So we got 5 to go. Let's see if Mr. Campbell can keep it. There's a yellow flag, so let's see. This could slow some down maybe, and we got a card off. That should be a standing yellow coming by, so he's off track. Tyler Witt will lock in the 3rd place finish since Daniel Perez got a DNF.
Could have been something terminal he made there in that shift beneath us in turn number 4, causing his day to end early.
Absolutely, absolutely. It didn't sound right on the last 2 laps that he went by. He's looking at it like it's an engine issue, so we will see what happens. But Oz,
then there were 2.
yeah, we're down to 2 on the final race with 4 to go, with a 2-second lap difference. We'll see if Mr. Oz can make some magic happen here. He's obviously hoping for a little slip up from Robbie so he can try to catch a break, but Robbie's been pretty consistent so far.
Robbie Campbell making it look easy in that 412 machine as he navigates through the S's.
I know, and his kart color's the same as Danny, so it almost looks like Danny Perez was the last race, and Robbie's just mocking what Danny Perez was doing in the pre-final and all day yesterday. So
looking very similar. Only difference you can tell is Danny had that interesting visor shield on that kind of stood out.
yeah, that neon green helmet. You gotta wonder if that's for strategic purposes with the sun, or if it's just for the looks. And the lead's up to 3 seconds now, so Robbie's just taking advantage of the track, and he's putting some good consistent lap times down. He was running low 49s, now he's low 50s, so you definitely see where the endurance is catching up to him, and these shifter guys get tired on these last 3 laps, and usually it's a 12-lap final, but because it's the Winter Series, they try to give everybody more track time. It's a 15-lap, and in one of these shifters, it's the very enduring for sure.
A white flag, a lap, 1 to go for Robbie Campbell in that 412 machine. Oz Cheek in second. The only 2 cars remaining on the racetrack. He almost makes you wonder, Lucas, if Oz didn't maybe use this stuff up early when he saw that leader within grasp of him, and because he turned some fast lap times and now he's kind of fell off a cliff.
Yep. You never know with these guys. it's like a fight. You gotta be ready to last all the rounds, and Robbie obviously has been that guy up until this point on the final corner of the final lap. He's got it done, and he is going to coast to victory.
Checkered flag in the air for Robbie Campbell, taking home the win over Oz Cheek. Congratulations to Robbie, putting on a great performance here in the Shifter Kart Series. Tyler Witt finishing in third with mechanical issue and a DNF for Danny Perez in fourth after not being able to make the start earlier this afternoon.
Well, I believe that will wrap up our day, Mr. Blake. It was a pleasure calling the races with you.
Yes, sir, Lucas. My pleasure as well. Enjoy the experience up here for the weekend at Atlanta Motorsports Park, beautiful Dawsonville, Georgia, one of my favorite places to visit. And we've got our podiums coming up.
Here soon.
For Lucas Arnett, I'm Blake Smith. Thank you for joining us and staying by for our podium finishes.